Part 55. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 541. After those jeans were sampled, Zhang Chen's business went from bad to worse. Zhang Chen himself understood the reason. Although there were people buying jeans in the summer, there were not many after all. It turned out that their stall was like a retail store with a wide range of products. Zhang Chen's samples are excellent, and coupled with the advertisements outside, their store is very beautiful and eye-catching from a distance. Now, the cardboard boxes piled up to the ceiling have blocked all the lights in the stall. The street lights in the passage shine on the rows of pants that are almost next to the rolling shutters. The entire stall not only looks airtight, it was still dark, and looking from a distance, I thought the stall didn't open at all. Zhang Chen himself felt that it was too depressing in his stall. Not to mention the customers, he felt that his stall was very similar to the store in Dongxin Market that was filled with elastic cotton. In the summer, just looking at it made people feel hot. In addition, in order to reduce losses as much as possible, their pants were not sold cheaply. Instead of the planned 30-41 pairs, they sold 67 and 71 pairs. In this way, if they can more than 300 pairs of trousers were sold out, and the loss was only a few thousand yuan, which is not too much. But at this price, many people left as soon as they asked, not even willing to bargain. Those old customers who used to come often came here twice and looked at their stalls. Now that they are like this, they have no desire to come again. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were secretly worried as they looked at each other, but there was nothing they could do about it. Zhang Chen often wanted to throw these boxes into the trash can one by one, but he always just thought about it, even though they were its garbage, but after all, it's garbage that I spent a lot of money to buy, so I still can't bear to throw it away. Although sometimes Zhang Chen is confused, he feels that his calculations are wrong. In the past, he would make some money every day, but now he often doesn't make a penny. If there is no money, isn't he losing money every day, stall fees and other things? The cost is the same whether you have a business or not counting the money you can earn every day. Although the money cannot be calculated, and there is no fixed amount, there is always some, no less than nothing now. As time goes by, this pile of things is actually here. Not only does it not produce any benefits, but it also causes me to continue to bleed every day. There is no end in sight. Do we have to keep piling up like this? Zhang Chen wanted to tell Xiao Zhao to throw them all away, but he knew that if he said that, Xiao Zhao would definitely cry and become anxious. This is like a person who is reluctant to throw away the leftovers and eats them every day. It was leftover rice, but he felt that it must not be poured out if it was rice, let alone pairs of jeans, even though they were in European sizes. Zhang Chen also made up his mind again and again, telling himself, no, this won't work. He must tell Xiao Zhao about this tomorrow. But when tomorrow came, he saw Xiao Zhao's worried eyes and thought, forget it, let's wait for her. Let's talk when you feel better. In this way, August dragged on day by day. Zhang Chen got angry looking at the pile of cartons in the store. When he got home, he got angry again at the Singer sewing machine. Damn it, it cost more than 200 and it was of no use. With nothing to do, Zhang Chen really started thinking about making diapers. Since he already had a sewing machine, he picked up a book on clothing cutting. It seemed that Zhang Chen bought these books because he was curious and wanted to know how a piece of cloth was made. Turning it into a piece of clothing, he had never thought about becoming a tailor. He always felt that tailoring was something only women or effeminate men could do. Zhang Chen read general cutting books and learned the so-called flat cutting, and also learned the so-called draping, which was very new at the time. He knew that most of the clothes at Milan and Paris Fashion Week were made through draping, which has high artistic and technical requirements for designers, so it is called soft sculpture. By September, the market returned to normal. The stall owners, who had been closed for several days, including Feng Zhen, were shocked when they first saw Zhang Chen and his stall. They didn't know what they were doing. Look again. A Yang's stall looked the same. Zhang Chen and a Yang looked like two defeated roosters after they opened the door, looking downcast. Zhang Chen and his stall no longer even had the dazzling advertisement. Feng Zhen found Yang first and tentatively understood the reason. She remained calm on the surface, but she was already happy in her heart. Haha, you guys are also here today. Let's see what else you have to say. Although Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao, they were never arrogant when business was good, but Feng Zhen always felt that they were arrogant, even if Xiao Zhao sometimes talked to her in a flattering way. That's also an air of dignity. Who wants you to please? At around 9 o'clock, Xiao Zhao came. The only space left in the stall was the small space in front of the table. Both of them felt cramped when sitting there. Before the market returned to normal, they could move chairs and stools to the passage to sit and recover. Normally, you are not allowed to sit outside. Zhang Chen gave up his seat to Xiao Zhao. He stood in the passage for a while, then walked to a Yang stall to take a look. When a Yang saw him, he still smiled bitterly and shook his head as usual. Although all the stalls in the market were open, there were still no customers. Most of the people wandering around in the aisles were people from the market. Zhang Chen felt that instead of standing here and there in boredom, he might as well go out for a walk. He hadn't gone out for a long time, and he didn't know what the outside world was like now. After Zhang Chen left, Xiao Zhao sat alone in the stall. Feng Zhen looked at Xiao Zhao opposite, squeezed among the cartons, wiping sweat constantly. When Feng Zhen looked at Xiao Zhao raised his head and saw her. Feng Zhen smiled at Xiao Zhao, and Xiao Zhao was stunned. For a moment. How come there are so many goods? Feng Zhen asked knowingly. Xiao Zhao smiled bitterly and shook his head. I was greedy for cheap, and I suffered a big loss. It's too boring where you are. Come sit here with me. Feng Zhen greeted Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao thought about it, stood up and walked over. Feng Zhen offered her chair to Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao quickly declined. Feng Zhen said, "It's a chair. What's so polite about it? It's just a big belly, I can't sit on the stool." Xiao Zhao couldn't resist. She said, "I'll go get my chair." I'll go, you sit here." Feng Zhen ran to the opposite side and brought over the steel folding chairs from Zhang Chen's stall. Yang passed by them, and Feng Zhen shouted, "Where are you going? You don't look at the stalls, but you go to play again." Yang said without looking back, "I'm sorry, let's go for a walk and look for any Yankees who have packed up." Zhang Chen walked around Sijiking, but it was still the same. Every market was empty and no one had any new products. He then went to the fabric market and stopped in front of a stall. He was attracted by a piece of floral cotton inside. He remembered that Xiao Zhao frowned in front of the mirror every day because he thought the maternity skirt on his body was too ugly. Zhang Chen looked at this, a piece of floral cotton. I thought it would look good on Xiao Zhao. When he was thinking like this, the cutting book he had been reading for the past 2 days immediately appeared in his mind. He thought that if it was flat cutting, what should the front piece look like, what should the back piece look like, how big should the armholes be, each one? The size actually appeared in his mind automatically. It was amazing. He seemed to have a whole set of maternity skirt models in his mind right away. Then, thinking about how to put this piece of cloth on Xiao Zhao and how to deal with the pleats to make Xiao Zhao's already bloated figure look slimmer, Zhang Chen couldn't help but walked forward, spread out some of the cloth spread out on the counter, and used my hands shook when I picked it up. The fabric feels very comfortable and the drape is good enough. Although the boss told him that it was made of cotton, Zhang Chen had already concluded that it could not be made of cotton. There must be viscose in it. Zhang Chen grabbed a corner of the fabric and lit the lighter. The boss quickly stopped him. "That's too late. Zhang Chen saw that the fabric curled up slightly when it was about to come into contact with the flames, and then was ignited. There was a wisp of black smoke. Zhang Chen blew out the flames with a puff, and after a while, he went to twist the ashes on the edge of the fabric. There is obvious granularity. Zhang Chen and the boss laughed and said, "It's not made of cotton." The boss said angrily, "What are you doing?" Zhang Chen saw that the width of the cloth was 1.5 meters, and said to the boss, "Give me 3 meters. 3 meters can make 2 maternity skirts." The boss turned his anger into joy and immediately said okay. Even Zhang Chen himself didn't know where his idea of identifying fabrics came from. He thought that he had probably read too many books on clothing and wanted to understand it. He also vaguely remembered that a magazine wrote about people's fur skin. Pure cotton fabric is not the best, on the contrary, blended fabric is the best. The main reason why Zhang Chen took a fancy to this piece of fabric was that it was pure cotton and would not have such good drape. This was what he needed most. After Zhang Chen bought the fabric, he went to a store selling accessories and bought several feet of lace and songjiang tape. After walking out of the fabric market, there was a newly built cultural products market next to it. Zhang Chen walked in and went to a paper stall. He bought 10 sheets of craft paper for clothing pattern making. He then went to a stationery stall and sold a handful of 1 meter. After buying the 5-length plexiglass ruler, I saw that there was also a double-sided 60 cm long grading ruler for garment pattern making, so Zhang Chen bought another one. After buying these, Zhang Chen rode his bicycle back and looked at the time. It was already past 11 o'clock. Zhang Chen bought some fast food at the entrance of the market. When he walked in, he saw Xiao Zhao sitting in Feng Jin's stall, 2 people. Everyone was talking and laughing, and Zhang Chen couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. He walked into his stall and put the things on the table. When Xiao Zhao saw Zhang Chen coming back, she hurried over. When she saw the things on the table, she felt a little confused. She patted the roll of brown paper and asked, "What is this?" "It's for making boards," Zhang Chen said. "You want to hit the board?" Xiao Zhao opened his eyes wide. "Is it weird that I want to make patterns? Didn't you see that I have been reading books on clothing tailoring these 2 days? What's the point of just not practicing? I want to make use of the sewing machine at home." Xiao Zhao patted the piece of floral cloth and said with a smile, okay, I support you. What about this, are you going to make curtains as your debut?" "Of course not," Zhang Chen said, "I want to make you a maternity dress." "Real?" "Of course, take a look at this pattern and see if you like it." Xiao Zhao nodded repeatedly, "I like it." "You must have chosen the right one." Zhang Chen pushed the paper and cloth into the table, took out the lunch box from the plastic bag, and the 2 of them sat down to eat. After finishing the meal, Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said, "There is no business anyway, so you can go back or sit here." "There is no place to sit, so go back and study your clothing tailoring skills. I wish you study hard and make progress every day." Zhang Chen thought about what Xiao Zhao said made sense. He really had nothing to do here. Besides, after buying the things, his hands were really itchy just looking at them. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said, "Then I'll pick you up at 5:30. Xiao Zhao said yes. "If someone buys pants and needs to move cardboard boxes." "I know, I will ask Ayang to help, and Feng Zhen will also help me," Xiao Zhao said. Zhang Chen stood up and turned around. He saw Feng Zhen smiling at him, and Zhang Chen also smiled at her. "Thank you to Smiling and Running Y and Li Rujin for your monthly votes. Thank you for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 542. Zhang Chen returned home on his bicycle. He was sweating profusely and couldn't care less. After putting down his things, he took the wash basin and went downstairs to the pool. He put the flour cloth he just bought into the basin and soaked it for a while. Which he also learned from books, is called pre-shrinking. Many fabrics will shrink. Soak them first to allow the fabric to shrink first, and then cut and make the garment without deformation. Zhang Chen hung the piece of cloth to dry on the railing of the corridor on the second floor, then went to the bathroom to take a shower, returned to the room, and started drawing in a sketchbook. The body deformation of pregnant women mainly occurs below the breasts. Zhang Chen imagined that the waistline could be raised below the breasts like the ethnic skirts worn by North Korean women seen in movies. Here, a lace should be added horizontally to the waistline, and below the lace, make the lower part of the skirt look like a pleated skirt by adding lots of pleats to cover the bulging belly. The upper part is fitted. In order to make it easier to put on and take off, and to keep cool, Zhang Chen opened an inverted omega opening in the front. Zhang Chen imagined adding a pair of buckles on the top so that the inverted omega opening would not be open. After finishing the drawing in the sketchbook, Zhang Chen then took out Xiao Zhao's maternity skirt and shirt from the cabinet, measured the relevant dimensions with a soft ruler and recorded them. Then he looked at the drawing and used a pencil to mark it on a piece of craft paper. List all the large and small pieces needed for this maternity dress, mark the relevant sizes, and double-check that they are correct. Zhang Chen spread the craft paper on the table and opened the cutting book. He stood there with his eyes closed and went through what he remembered in his mind. Then he lowered his head to read and checked whether he had missed anything. Then he took a deep breath. Ready to start drawing board. Zhang Chen himself laughed. He thought that when he was painting a scene measuring several meters by several meters, he was not so nervous. He just drew with a brush. How could he check it over and over again for fear of making a mistake? Are you confident? It doesn't matter if this paper template is damaged. At worst, it will just be printed again. It's just a waste of a few pieces of craft paper. I thought so and smiled like this, but when I really wanted to do it, I still continued to be nervous. Zhang Chen thought to himself that this was probably because he wanted to succeed at once too much. This seemed to have become a test for himself. It took Zhang Chen more than an hour to draw a simple pattern of a maternity skirt. He used scissors to cut out pieces of paper patterns, and then he realized that he still lacked a woman's stand, otherwise he could use a pin to insert the pattern into the pattern. Get on the stage and check the effect. Zhang Chen checked the entire set of paper patterns, but still felt uneasy. After thinking about it, he picked up the paper patterns and walked out. He was ready to ask Xiao Zhao for help and see if there was anything wrong with his paper patterns. When he reached the corridor outside, he used his hands to explore the flour cloth hanging on the railing. It was already dry, and he decided to come back and collect it again. Zhang Chen walked to Sanbeo Street and arrived at Xiao Zhao's tailor shop. The business of the tailor shop was light. Kaidi was sleeping on the sewing machine table while Xiao Zhao was sitting in front of the cutting table, flipping through a magazine with colorful covers. This kind of magazine would either write about some big gold theft, or some love murder case that shocked the whole country, or someone's history of sudden wealth. When Xiao Zhao saw Zhang Chen come in, he threw the magazine aside. It seemed that he had read the magazine countless times and was really bored, so he picked it up and flipped through it again. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao explained their intention. Xiao Zhao patted the cutting table and said to Zhang Chen, "Come on, put it here." Zhang Chen put the paper pattern on the cutting table, opened the sketchbook, and showed the picture he drew to Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao asked, "Did you draw this?" Zhang Chen said yes. "How come it's better than the one in the book?" Zhang Chen chuckled. Kaidi also woke up and came over after hearing their conversation. She looked at the picture and thought it was very good. "I've never seen maternity clothes like this before. It's more like fashion." "Did you design it for Xiao Zhao?" Kaidi asked. Zhang Chen said yes. "Aren't we selling clothes? I've seen a lot of them, and I wanted to try painting myself." "Do you want to be a designer?" Kaidi asked. Just like this, can I be a designer? Zhang Chen asked back. Of course, you can draw better than the designers in our previous factory. He deals with designers every day. Just ask him. Kaidi pointed at Xiao Zhao and said to Zhang Chen. Yes, they are not as good as you, Xiao Zhao said. Many times they don't know what to do with the ghost pictures they draw. I suspect they are all copied. Xiao Zhao looked at the picture, put the paper patterns together piece by piece, and after measuring all the dimensions with a ruler, he raised his head and asked Zhang Chen, "Is this your first time making a pattern?" Zhang Chen is right. It's really amazing. I hit everything right. Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief and said quickly, thank you, I'm not sure at all. I want you to take a look at everything." "You're welcome, we have nothing to do anyway. By the way, when you put this pattern on the fabric, how many seams should be left?" Zhang Chen asked. 1 centimeter. "Do it yourself." Zhang Chen nodded. "If you do it yourself, leave 2 centimeters first, and you will cut off a little when you copy the edges. If you don't have good hand control." Zhang Chen said yes. "Bring over Xiao Zhao's clothes and I'll give her a car." Kaidi interrupted, "I won't charge you." Zhang Chen said thank you. "It's not a matter of money. I just want to try it myself." Xiao Zhao rolled his eyes at Kaidi and said to her, "What do you know? This is a gift of love." Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh after such sour words came out. "Damn it, have you read too many colorful magazines like this?" Zhang Chen asked Kaidi with a smile, "Did he give you any gifts of love?" Kaidi curled her lips and said, "Yes, I used to be a team leader in the factory, but he abducted me into this miserable place and I almost didn't have anything to eat." "Is this a gift of love?" Kaidi asked Xiao Zhao, who blushed when she asked, and Zhang Chen laughed. Zhang Chen then asked Kaidi, "Do you know how to do pan buckle? What color do you want it to be?" Zhang Chen saw a bag of scraps of cloth on the cutting table, and there was a piece of emerald green cotton in it, so he said he wanted this color. Kaidi took out the scrap of cloth and told Zhang Chen that you should first pay attention to the grain of the cloth and cut it diagonally like this. While Kaidi was talking, she cut a piece of cloth about a foot long and about an inch wide from the scrap of cloth. She folded it in half and put it under the presser foot of the sewing machine. With a click, the machine passed a line and took it out. "Get up and say to Zhang Chen. If you want the buttons to be fuller and firmer, don't trim the seam allowance. Let it be wrapped in. If you want it to be deflated and softer, trim the seam allowance." Zhang Chen looked at it and kept nodding. Kaidi opened the small drawer next to the sewing machine and took out a bicycle spoke. The head of the spoke was ground thin and bent into a small hook. She put the spoke through the finished strip of cloth. Thread it out, hook the edge of the fabric with a curved hook, pull it back and inward, and turn the entire strip of cloth over, turning it into a round strip of cloth as thick as a sweater needle. She cut off a section with scissors and told Zhang Chen to keep this as a buckle. Then fold the other section in half and place it on the index finger of your left hand. Use your right hand to pick up the right line segment and twist it to form a coil. Place it under your left thumb and hold it. Then pick up the left line and pass it through the coil pressed above. Then take off the coiled thread from your left hand. Finally, use your right hand to pick up one end of the thread, insert it into the middle, then hold the other end with your left hand, and hold the other end that passed through the front with your right hand, pull it out with both hands, and a button bead is ready. It only took a few seconds. Before Zhang Chen could see clearly, Kaidi had already finished. She was worthy of being born as a team leader of a clothing factory. Zhang Chen had seen the power of a team leader in that clothing factory. Kaidi asked Zhang Chen how many more he wanted, and Zhang Chen said one was enough. Kaidi asked Zhang Chen to do it by himself. She gave instructions, starting from cutting the cloth strips, to putting on the sewing machine to step on the line, and no matter how to turn it over. Zhang Chen learned how to make a cloth rope and finally make buckles and beads. He was very happy. He didn't think it was a job for women at all, but found it very interesting. Zhang Chen picked up the paper pattern and the buckle and thanked Xiao Zhao and Kaidi. Zhang Chen said to Xiao Zhao that I would come often in the future and learn tailoring from you. Xiao Zhao said yes, then I will learn painting from you. Kaidi and Zhang Chen said, what is there to learn from tailoring? Once you learn how to do it, you won't have to eat anymore, and you will be better at painting. Zhang Chen said, what's so good about painting? You see, I'm not here to sell clothes. Xiao Zhao and Kaidi both laughed. Zhang Chen went out, walked for a while and looked back. He felt that although he had only come to this tailor shop for the second time today, he felt like he was an old acquaintance with them. Zhang Chen returned home and put the floral cloth in. Because it was not made of cotton, the floral cloth was not wrinkled, otherwise he would have to find a way to iron it flat first. He put away the things on the table, spread the cloth on the table, pressed the paper pattern on the cloth, and drew on the cloth with powder 2 centimeters outside the edge of the paper pattern. The paper pattern he cut out this time was a clean pattern without any seams. Xiao Zhao reminded him that next time he could draw a clean pattern first and then use a grading ruler to place the seams before cutting. That kind of paper pattern would be more standard. Zhang Chen remembered it. This Singer sewing machine is multifunctional and can be hemmed. After Zhang Chen cut the pieces of clothing, he began to hem them one by one. After finishing copying, he looked up at the vegetable field in the distance. There were already vegetable farmers carrying manure buckets. Zhang Chen was shocked when he came to water the vegetables in the vegetable field. He looked at his watch and saw that it was already 6:10. Oh no, 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 the market has closed at 6 o'clock. I promised to pick up Xiao Zhao at 5:30, but why did I forget the time as soon as I started doing this work? Zhang Chen quickly got up and went downstairs, pedaling hard on his bicycle. When he was approaching the market, he saw from a distance that the market was closed. Xiao Zhao stood under the eaves next to the gate, looking in this direction. Zhang Chen rode up to him and jumped out of the car, his head and body covered with sweat. Xiao Zhao complained, why are you riding so fast? There are so many cars on the road now, it's so unsafe. Zhang Chen said, I'm afraid you'll be impatient. Humph, are you going to forget about me while you are doing this? Zhang Chen chuckled. Xiao Zhao also laughed, and she asked, you are so fascinated, have you already started? Yeah, Zhang Chen nodded quickly and said, I went to worship 2 masters in the afternoon. Master, what kind of master do you want to be? Xiao Zhao asked curiously. Zhang Chen told Xiao Zhao about his visit to Xiao Zhao and Kaidi's tailor shop, and then Xiao Zhao understood. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 543. Xiao Zhao returned home and was very happy to see Zhang Chen making half of the maternity skirt. After eating, Xiao Zhao put away the table. Zhang Chen put on the sewing machine and continued to work. Xiao Zhao finished taking a shower and stood. Zhang Chen looked behind him. When he got tired from standing, he went to bed to lean on. While talking loudly to Zhang Chen, she looked at Zhang Chen's busy back and smiled slightly. Xiao Zhao leaned for a while, tiredness came over him. After yawning twice, he fell asleep unconsciously. Zhang Chen heard Xiao Zhao's voice behind him for a long time. He looked back and saw that she had fallen asleep. Chen smiled, walked over, took a towel and covered her with it, turned around and continued to do it. When Xiao Zhao was woken up by Zhang Chen, it was already past 10 o'clock. Xiao Zhao rubbed his eyes and sat up, asking, are you ready? Zhang Chen nodded. Show me quickly. Zhang Chen took 2 steps back, picked up the newly made nightgown from the table, and held it in his hand. Xiao Zhao took a breath and exclaimed, "It's so beautiful." "Want to try?" Zhang Chen asked. Xiao Zhao nodded repeatedly, "I want it. Of course I want it." Xiao Zhao changed into her maternity dress, walked to the mirror, looked at herself in the mirror, and kept laughing. Zhang Chen walked over, hugged her from behind, and asked, "Does it look good?" Yes, Xiao Zhao nodded. "It's a gift of love." Zhang Chen said that he started laughing after he finished speaking. Xiao Zhao was puzzled by his laughter and turned to look at him. Zhang Chen told Xiao Zhao about the conversation he had with Xiao Zhao and Kaidi in the afternoon, and Xiao Zhao also laughed. Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said, "Dear, I think Kaidi said something right." "What words?" "You are a very good designer," Xiao Zhao said. "By the way, why can't we sell the clothes you designed?" "You can definitely do it." "Really?" "Of course it's true. We sell the clothes you design yourself. You don't have to look for any source of goods anymore. We are our own source of goods. We sell our own goods. We are unique in the entire market and will definitely attract a lot of customers." Xiao Zhao's words moved Zhang Chen, and he was also thinking, why not? Is it really difficult for him to become a fashion designer? When I left Yongcheng, I had never done any decoration design. When I arrived in Haikan, I did very well once I got started. Isn't this fashion design more difficult than decoration design? As long as you are willing to put in the effort, you will definitely be competent. However, I can only design the simplest clothing now, Zhang Chen said. No, Xiao Zhao shook her head. She pointed to the sketchbook and said to Zhang Chen, "You can only make the simplest sketches and make the simplest clothes. The designer doesn't ask you to make sketches. It's not about making clothes, it's about painting on them. What can't you paint? If you can draw it, you have to find a way to turn it into clothes. What's the use of just drawing?" Xiao Zhao also thinks this is a problem. You can't take a sketchbook and show it to the customer and tell the customer, "Do you want this style? If you want it, I will go to a clothing factory to produce it." Zhang Chen suddenly laughed and cursed, "I'm so damn stupid." Xiao Zhao looked at him and asked, "What did you think of?" "I thought about Xiao Zhao and Kaidi. Don't they have no business now? Why can't I let them make it cheaper for us? I design, Xiao Zhao makes the boards, and Kaidi does it. It's a one-stop service. Anyway, we have many retail customers there. If the clothes you design yourself are a little more expensive after adding in their wages, can you still sell them?" Yes, yes, Xiao Zhao also became excited and shouted, "This is a good idea. Come on, my dear, let's go discuss it with them now and see if they are willing." "Forget it, let's talk about it in 2 days," Zhang Chen said sadly. "Why don't we wait until 2 days later?" Xiao Zhaokai asked. "First of all, it is impossible to say that we will make summer clothes now. We must start with autumn clothes. Secondly, we are just making them now, and we don't even have a place to show off." When Zhang Chen said this, Xiao Zhao also felt sad. "Yes, there are piles of jeans in the stall now. Where are the samples going? Now go talk to Kaidi and the others. Kaidi and the others will probably be very happy." "Yes, but they agreed, and you don't have anything to do for them here, so aren't you trying to tease their appetites?" Xiao Zhao sighed. Zhang Chen looked at her and comforted her, "It's okay. I can slowly learn and start designing now. This clothing design is not that simple. If you say you want to do it today, you can do it tomorrow. You have to have an idea. To collect materials, the most important thing is to find suitable fabrics. Now that we have thought of it, we will go in this direction." Xiao Zhao said, "Yes, but I think we should go to Kaidi's place." "What are you going for?" Xiao Zhao shook his body from side to side and said with a smile, Please ask these two professionals for advice on the new clothes you made. At around 9 o'clock, when Xiao Zhao went to the market wearing a new maternity dress, Feng Zhen shouted when she saw it, "Oh, Xiao Zhao, this dress is beautiful today." When Feng Zhen shouted like this, a customer happened to be passing by. She turned to look at Xiao Zhao and asked, "Where did you buy this maternity skirt?" Xiao Zhao smiled, pointed to her stall and said, "This is it." "How much?" 65, Xiao Zhao said casually. The customer stopped and said, "Can you get me one? My sister is also pregnant." Just as Xiao Zhao was about to say something, Zhang Chen quickly walked out of the stall and said to the customer, "I'm sorry, she may not know that this product has been sold out." The customer looked at Xiao Zhao again and left angrily. Xiao Zhao asked Zhang Chen, "Did I drive too low?" "No," Zhang Chen said. "Have you ever calculated the approximate cost of this? If you don't count labor, 15. How many? 15. This, you pig, why don't you let her come again tomorrow? Just go home and make another one. You can make 50 yuan, Xiao Zhao cried out regretfully. Zhang Chen shook his head and said, "I won't sell it for any price. This style is specially designed for you." Xiao Zhao was stunned for a moment, then said with a smile, "Okay, I understand, this is a gift of love." Zhang Chen also laughed. When Xiao Zhao came, Zhang Chen was ready to go out for a walk. He had already thought about it this morning and decided to go to the fabric market. He wanted to go to the stall run by a Taiwanese. They all had imported fabrics and the fabrics were relatively good. Novel, Zhang Chen decided to find out the price first, so he had a good idea. He sat alone in the stall in the morning and carefully thought about what he and Xiao Zhao had thought last night. He felt that Xiao Zhao was right. This is the way they want to go. We are our own source of goods. Don't worry about it anymore. I looked here and there. Zhang Chen was riding his bicycle. Before he reached Kaiyudao Road, the BB phone in his waist rang. He looked and saw that the call was coming from the stall. Xiao Zhao grabbed him and he quickly turned around and rode back. Zhang Chen rushed back to the stall. When Xiao Zhao saw him, he said that it was a Yang who was looking for him. Zhang Chen walked to a Yang stall and saw a Yang and another person crowded in his own stall, whispering something. When he saw Zhang Chen, a Yang stood up and pointed at the person. Said, "This customer is from Yabao Road in Beijing. I went to the old market to find him." He also told the other party that he was from the stall opposite. The Beijing customer stood up and shook hands with Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen looked at a Yang and didn't know what he was going to do. A Yang told him that he was going to pack all European size clothes for such a customer. "Do you want to do it?" "How much?" "The price of my clothes has been negotiated. They cost 3 yuan apiece." "So low?" Zhang Chen asked. Yang smiled bitterly and shook his head. "How many pants do you have in total?" "I mean European sizes," the other party asked. 2,000. "I won't beat around the bush anymore. How about I take away the 2 yuan apiece?" Zhang Chen's heart moved. 2 yuan, these rubbish that he was ready to throw away? Zhang Chen almost agreed. When he saw a Yang blinking at him, he said, "That won't work. The price is too low. How much do you want?" Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, "It's the same as him, it's also 3 yuan. The other party shook his head, "That won't work. I can't afford 3 yuan. I have to transport it back to Beijing. The shipping cost is 1 yuan per piece. It's too expensive." The two bargained and couldn't agree on the price. Finally, Yang said, "It's not up to you or him, you both give in, just $2.50. The other party thought for a moment and said yes, it would be $2.50. Zhang Chen walked back to his stall and told Xiao Zhao about this. When Xiao Zhao heard this, he exploded and shouted, "You are crazy, 2.5 yuan, how much will we lose? Zhang Chen quickly said, I don't want to either, but autumn clothes will be on sale soon. What should I do if the stall looks like this? These pants have been piled here for half a month. Have you ever sold a pair? The only way is to put them, pick it up and treat it as a joke, right? Also, have you forgotten what we planned last night? Xiao Zhao bit her lip and struggled internally. Her eyes were red. 2.5 yuan, which equals a loss of 7.5 yuan. It was really more uncomfortable than digging out her flesh. But in the end, thinking about it, it was Zhang Chen who said it. It makes sense. These things are piled here, and this stall seems to be dead. Xiao Zhao's eyes were filled with tears, but he still nodded and said, Okay, you prodigal son, you make the decision on this matter. Zhang Chen walked back and told the customer in Beijing that it was okay. The customer stood up and walked out. After a while, he brought 3 men who were packing and shipping goods in the old market and pulled the cart that transported large packages over. He randomly picked out 5 boxes from each stall, opened the boxes and checked that the numbers inside were consistent with what was written on the cartons outside. Instead of opening boxes one by one and counting points, he asked the 3 people to carry them into the car. The car is pulled outward. He and Zhang Chen took notes on paper and wrote down the numbers on each box. The 3 people worked for more than an hour and emptied both stalls. After both parties checked the numbers, the other party took out the money from his pocket and paid the money, and the transaction ended. There was a question that always bothered Zhang Chen. In the end, he couldn't hold it back and asked the Beijing customer, who else wants clothes like this? Of course the other party smiled, I came to Yabao Road just to find these European-sized goods. Laomazi is a Russian, and these guys are really big. They are all the big Robs, Dadrov, they talked about when they were young. Damn it, there are really shrimps, crabs, and crabs. Zhang Chen is here, I sighed in my heart. The stalls were all emptied, leaving only the goods for daily orders. Zhang Chen and Yang both breathed a sigh of relief, feeling as if a stone weighing on their hearts had been removed. Even Xiao Zhao burst into tears and smiled. She saw he looked at the 2 of them and cursed. What a pig. I never felt so happy when I saw losing money. Yang smiled and said, that's true, money can't buy my comfort, do you know? I will open the recliner later, lie there with my hands and legs crossed, and I can have a sweet dream. Looking at the empty stall, Zhang Chen felt that he had truly awakened. Clothes were nothing. It was normal to make profits and losses. Only the stall was their foundation and their green mountain. As long as the green mountain was still there, it would be don't worry about running out of firewood. He felt that he suddenly gained confidence, and said to Xiao Zhao, don't worry, I will definitely make back the money you lost. Thank you Brokeback Mountain for the tip. Thank you Tin Soldier, ranked 3rd from top to bottom, reading books every day, and 131 on the shore for your continued rewards. Thank you for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 544. Zhang Chen reassembled the dismantled vertical clothes racks and divided the jeans into 2 rows, upper and lower, as he originally expected. 1 row was placed on the grid on the 2 walls. Halfway through, he felt that it was not possible. This stall, it is still necessary to focus on women's clothing. These men's trousers can only be sold as a pass-through at most, otherwise the stall will look very messy. Moreover, we can't look like this. The 2 walls are all jeans. The color of the entire stall is too dim and too monotonous. It must be sold with something. The dozen or so clothes left in the store are all short-sleeved. Sleeveless summer clothes and summer jeans look like out-of-season items. Zhang Chen simply gave up. He sat there and thought for a while, and then he thought of the shop selling plaid cotton and linen in the Dongxin Road fabric market. Yes, a plaid cotton and linen shirt paired with jeans is a perfect match. Long-sleeved shirts and jeans are the most suitable clothing to sell in the coming autumn. Zhang Chen stood up and told Xiao Zhao, "Don't let the sample come out, it won't work well, just let it be messy for 2 days. You hang all these men's pants on the hangers, and I'll go out for a while." Zhang Chen rode his bicycle and headed towards Dongxin Road. It was not yet 1 o'clock, and the noon sun was very poisonous. It hit his face and arms, and soon a layer of tan appeared on his face, and then it looked like it feels like peeling off this layer of skin, and it hurts like a burning pain. Zhang Chen did not choose to go through Gentian West Road and Shaoxing Road. Instead, he chose a shortcut from Caiyudao Road. The shortcut was not easy to walk, it was all uphill and downhill and small roads, and could only accommodate 1 car. Zhang Chen riding a bicycle in the morning is no problem. He passed through a rice field where late rice had been planted, but was blocked by a train track in front of him. At the crossing, the red and white crossbar had been lowered, and the alarm bell kept ringing, but there was no train. "Come over." Zhang Chen stood on the edge of the railway track and waited for more than 10 minutes. He cursed in his heart, "Damn it, I wanted to take a shortcut, but I didn't expect that it would waste more time." After another 5 or 6 minutes, I saw a freight train carrying coal, slowly coming from a distance. The wind picked up, and the people standing around Zhang Chen fled back. Zhang Chen stood across the way. In front of the pole, I felt inexplicable, wondering what they were trying to escape from. When the train came over and passed by, a layer of soot fell on his head and body. Those people looked at him and smiled, and Zhang Chen finally understood what they were hiding. "Damn you!" The crossbar rose, Zhang Chen cursed at the departing train, and then started pedaling his bicycle. Zhang Chen arrived at the Dongxin Road fabric market and walked to the stall selling plaid cotton and linen fabrics. He quickly spotted 5 fabrics. He asked the boss, "How to sell this fabric?" "4 yuan, the boss said. Zhang Chen was surprised, "So cheap?" The cotton and linen fabrics in the Sijiking fabric market all cost 7 or 8 yuan. Then he immediately understood that the fabrics here were all bought from the warehouse, as Asin said. Of course they were cheap. Their cost might only be 1 or 2 yuan. 1 meter. Zhang Chen pointed at the 5 fabrics and said, "I want this, this, this." When the boss heard this, he came over quickly. Zhang Chen continued, "Give me 5 meters each." He estimated that a shirt would need 1 meter per piece, and the fabric would need to be pre-shrunk. If he made 4 pieces each in sizes S, M, and L in a ratio of 1:2:1, it would take 5 meters. The boss glared at him, walked back and sat down at the table, and said to him angrily, "We don't do retail here." Zhang Chen looked at the fabrics. Each bundle was very large. Each bundle was 200 to 300 meters long. 5 bundles of fabrics added up to more than 1,000 meters. How could he use so many fabrics? Don't just send away one god of plague and welcome another god of plague. Zhang Chen has never done any fashion design work before. Although he has spoken out loud to Xiao Zhao before, Xiao Zhao must have agreed on what he does. Most of what Xiao Zhao and Kaidi said was polite. The problem is these clothes are sold to customers and need their approval. If they say they can do it, then it really works. Zhang Chen walked over, took out cigarettes from his bag, and threw one on the table in front of the boss. The boss pushed the cigarette away, but his face became a little more cheerful. Zhang Chen discussed with the boss, and he said, "I took it back for proofing. After this is done, they will naturally come to you to buy. Even if they finish buying from you, there will be no problem." When he said the last sentence, Zhang Chen felt that he lacked confidence. The boss looked back at him, then turned back, and simply ignored him, letting him stand there and say anything. Zhang Chen had no choice but to walk angrily. He walked to the door of the market and stood there. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that this fabric was great for making cotton and linen shirts. There was nothing more suitable than this. Zhang Chen still wanted to think about it. Hard, he walked back again. When the boss heard someone coming, he turned around and saw it was him. He clicked his tongue and didn't bother to pay attention to him. Zhang Chen said to the boss, "Boss, I really want to take it back for proofing, and I will definitely come to you for a larger batch. So, you can double the price first and sell it to me for 8 yuan a meter." When the boss heard this, he stood up and walked over. Zhang Chen said to him, "Boss, we agreed, I will buy it for 8 yuan now. If I come back later, I will take the whole bundle away from you, you have to pay me back 4 yuan. In fact, Zhang Chen himself had no idea when he would be able to take away the whole bundle. He felt that even 8 yuan was only an increase of more than 4 yuan to the cost of a shirt. For this batch of clothes, even if he had 1 point, if you don't make money, it's good to use them to test your vision and design skills to see if customers will buy it. The boss thought for a moment and said, "Okay, I will do as you say." Zhang Chen bought the fabrics and saw that it was not yet 3 o'clock. He decided to go back to Sanbao to find Xiao Zhao and Kaidi and discuss making clothes in advance, so that he would feel at ease. When he arrived at the entrance of the market and got on the car, he decided to take a shortcut back. He thought to himself, it can't be so unlucky. He bumped into the train twice a day. If we bump into the train again, I will let you touch me again. Kolash. Along the way, Zhang Chen glanced at the 5 pieces of fabric in the basket in front of him from time to time, and several shirt styles immediately came to mind. Zhang Chen thought about it while riding, and the more he rode, the more excited he became. It took more than an hour, the ride was over before I knew it. Even the scorching sun above my head was almost forgotten, and I didn't feel much of its heat. Zhang Chen didn't even go back home and rode directly to Xiao Zhao and his tailor shop. They were both there. Today, Xiao Zhao was sleeping on the sewing machine table while Kaidi was sitting in front of the cutting table, flipping through the magazine with the colorful cover. Neither of them noticed that he got off the car in front of the store. Zhang Chen crept in. He walked up to Xiao Zhao and slapped the sewing machine's table with his hand, startling both of them. Xiao Zhao raised his head and looked at him sleepily. Zhang Chen asked Xiao Zhao, "How much do you charge for making a women's shirt?" 20, what, you want to do it for Xiao Zhao? Yes, I will make it, but not for Xiao Zhao. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said, "In this way, I want you to make 20 pieces at a time, and you can make it cheaper, 15, okay. You know what I'm selling. It's too expensive to sell, but if the price is right and it's sold, I'll let you help me make it." When Zhang Chen was talking, Kaidi had already put down the magazine in her hand and came over. After Zhang Chen finished speaking, before Xiao Zhao opened his mouth, Kaidi said, "Okay, anyway, we don't have much work now. However, I have never heard of making clothes in a tailor shop and selling them at the Sijiking stall. Are you not afraid of the price?" "I've never heard of it, so I'll let you see it today," Zhang Chen said with a smile. Xiao Zhao asked Zhang Chen, "Do you want to design it yourself?" Zhang Chen is right. That's okay. When the styles you design yourself come to the market, there's no comparison. The price can be a little more expensive. "Have you brought your design drawings?" Xiao Zhao asked. "I haven't drawn it yet," Zhang Chen said with a smile. "Do you have paper and pen?" "I'll draw it now." "What kind of paper and pen do you want?" "Anything is fine." Xiao Zhao went to the cabinet inside, took half a piece of craft paper and a pen, and handed it to Zhang Chen, muttering to himself, "Why are you pretending to be so cool? Designing a style, is it so fast? You thought it was a fart, bang. Just came out?" Xiao Zhao remembers that when he was in a factory, the designers would only be able to draw a style in 2 or 3 days. In the meantime, they would constantly blame the paper or the pen for not being able to write well, saying that it affected their mood and what else they could create. Inspiration. The things that came out in the past 2 or 3 days were still pushed by the master who kept pushing them. Xiao Zhao and his master often scolded those designers, "You guys are holding in your shit, it's so stale, and you still can't hold it in." Zhang Chen picked up the pen, brushed it, and drew a shirt in a few minutes. He then drew the back of the shirt, and then drew several key details on the side, such as the collar and cuffs. After the painting is finished, mark the relevant dimensions on the painting one by one, so that it looks clear at a glance. Xiao Zhao and Kaidi looked on with their mouths agape. Xiao Zhao said, "Your action is too fast. Have you really never done any design?" "I have done many other designs, but never fashion design," Zhang Chen said. "Then with this skill, you can get high wages in any garment factory." Zhang Chen smiled. He picked out one piece of fabric from the 5 pieces on the cutting table and told Xiao Zhao that the style should be made from this piece of fabric. "By the way, do you understand what I drew?" "Do you think I'm an idiot?" Xiao Zhao said, "Looking at you painting, I understand." "Good, understanding, not bad." Zhang Chen patted Xiao Zhao on the shoulder. Xiao Zhao smiled shyly, picked up the piece of fabric and asked, "How much is it here?" 5 meters, 1 piece per meter, 1 large size, 2 medium sizes, 1 small size, make 4 pieces, is there enough fabric?" "You can make 5," Xiao Zhao said. "This is cotton and linen. It hasn't been pre-shrunk yet," Zhang Chen said in disbelief. "I know." Xiao Zhao handed the piece of fabric to Kaidi and said to her, "Soak it in water and then dry it in the sun, it will dry after a while." Kaidi took the fabric and walked away. Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said, "The shrinkage rate of cotton and linen will not exceed 3%. If your fabric has been stored for a long time, it will probably shrink by a centimeter or 2. "Can you make a shirt with only 90 centimeters?" Zhang Chen asked curiously. "Yes," Xiao Zhao nodded. "What magic weapon do you have?" "There is no magic weapon. The only way is to make rational use of fabrics. For Kaidi's car, only 1 centimeter needs to be left for the seam. Don't use a whole piece of fabric for the back collar and door guard. You can use scraps of fabric to splice them together. In the past, my master used to make 1 piece of back collar, connect 8 pieces, and these places cannot be seen, so you save fabric." Zhang Chen was greatly impressed. This made an extra piece of fabric available out of thin air, and of course the cost was reduced. It seemed that he had found the right person when he found this guy. When this guy stayed here, he really fell into a trap. "Then add an M size," Zhang Chen said to Xiao Zhao, and Xiao Zhao nodded. Zhang Chen then drew 2 more styles. While Zhang Chen was drawing, Xiao Zhao was standing by and asking about his requirements. By the time Zhang Chen finished drawing, he already fully understood what should be done. Zhang Chen looked at his watch. It was already past 5 o'clock. Zhang Chen told Xiao Zhao that I was going to pick up Xiao Zhao. There were still 2 styles left and I would paint them in the evening. Xiao Zhao said yes. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 545. Xiao Zhao's nickname is Zhao's Higang. Zhang Chen looked at him and smiled, saying that you are great. If you go to Shanghai, those middle-aged and elderly women will surround you. You will be there a la Zhao's Higang. Why is it so awesome? Zhao's Higang looked at Zhang Chen, confused. Xiao Zhao and Kaidi didn't know what Zhang Chen was talking about. Zhang Chen told them that Zhao's Higang was a popular opera actor in Shanghai, and all the middle-aged and elderly women were fascinated by him. Zhao's Higang blushed at Zhang Chen's remarks. Kaidi and Xiao Zhao laughed. Kaidi said that the women on Sanbeo Street were also fascinated by him and said that he was very loyal and honest. Do you think he is honest? This is probably because of Zhao's Higang's baby face, right? Zhang Chen smiled and said, I am dishonest, you still don't know. I just don't know. If I had known, I wouldn't have been abducted by him into this terrible place, Kaidi said. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed. Zhao Zhigang didn't reply, but his face turned redder in embarrassment. It seemed that he was still honest. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao returned home, quickly ate some pickled rice, and then hurried over. When they got here, Zhao Zhigang had already laid out the boards for the 3 shirts, and cut the fabrics of one color. Kaidi has already started to do it. It seems that these two are fast players. Xiao Zhao arrived here and saw the 3 styles that Zhang Chen had drawn. Then he looked at this small tailor shop. His own fabrics and cutting pieces were everywhere. He was very excited and felt that it was a great undertaking. Already started? She insisted that Kaidi give her some work to do, so Kaidi asked her to hold the iron and iron the collar, cuffs and the adhesive lining of the door. Zhang Chen quickly designed the other 2 styles. He stood on the side and watched Zhao Zhigang playing, and he also wanted to follow suit. The 4 of them were working, talking and laughing at the same time. The atmosphere was very harmonious and they felt like companions in a workshop. Zhang Chen picked up Kaidi's pre-shrunk fabric and looked at it. He felt that the fabric felt better than in the afternoon. Zhao Zhigang was right. This fabric had been stored for a long time. It was precisely because of this long time that people at that time were really honest. Everything I make is genuine. The same cotton and linen fabrics, when you hold them in your hands, feel much thicker than the new ones now. Ouch, Kaidi shouted, and the sound of the sewing machine stopped. Everyone else turned around. It turned out that the needle was broken. She was putting on the collar now. This area was very thick, and the needle broke as soon as she went fast. Kaidi kicked the Westlake household sewing machine and cursed, "Broken machine." After changing the needle and threading, I reached out and turned off the self-installed motor of the sewing machine. I put one foot on the pedal of the sewing machine and stepped on it slowly, my cheeks bulging. Zhang Chen looked at it and thought to herself that she must have missed the joy and freedom of the high-speed sewing machine running all the way in the factory. The next day, Zhang Chen went to the East Station small commodity market. There was an area specializing in clothing accessories, ranging from adhesive linings, sewing threads, sewing machine spare parts to buttons, zippers and wash marks. Most of them came from Yuwu. It seems like this is a branch of Yuwu's small commodity market in Hangzhou. Zhang Chen bought size labels and buttons. He did not choose plastic shirt buttons, but bronze buttons, which are usually used on denim clothes. He felt that this was more in line with the slightly rough style of cotton and linen. Zhang Chen returned to the stall to eat lunch. Sitting there, he looked at the 2 walls of his stall in a daze. The 7-shaped stall has one more rolling shutter door than others, but it lacks a wall to show off. The stall is rectangular, with 2 walls, one long and one short. The long one faces the horizontal passage. Zhang Chen has already think about it, those 5 colors of plaid shirts and jeans will just fill this wall. The short side is facing the main aisle. According to Zhang Chen's plan, 3 sets can be sold. The bottom of these 3 sets is still jeans, but the top is lacking. Zhang Chen decided to go to the Sijiking fabric market, where the Taiwanese boss look, although that guy's fabrics are expensive, you can sell them at a higher price. You don't have to go the old market route, everything is cheap. Besides, his clothes are all made by a tailor shop, so they can't be bought cheaply. From Zhang Chen's perspective, he doesn't expect this batch of clothes to make money. He just feels that this stall, I have been suffocated by those crappy things for too long, and I need a breath of fresh air to regain the original popularity of this stall. Of course, the most important thing is to see whether the clothes you design are popular with customers. Once the clothing design thing started, Zhang Chen felt out of control. As he walked, sat, and stood, there was a steady stream of styles in his mind. He often visited the stall of the Taiwanese boss and was very familiar with it. When these styles came out, they naturally merged with the fabrics in his stall, and he immediately knew what he wanted. Another good thing about the Taiwanese boss's fabrics is that they sell them at retail. If you need them, you can buy them in 1 or 2 meters. No matter how expensive they are, they won't cost you much. Before the meal was finished, Xiao Zhao looked at Zhang Chen and chuckled. Zhang Chen was puzzled and asked, "Why are you laughing?" Xiao Zhao said, "Can't you sit still?" "Why can't you sit still?" "Okay, I can see that your heart is no longer here," Xiao Zhao said. "Go quickly." "Where to go?" "Don't you want to go see how Kaidi and the others are doing?" Zhang Chen pretended to be reserved and said, "No, I want to go to the fabric market. There is nothing on this wall yet." "Okay, go ahead." After Xiao Zhao finished speaking, seeing Zhang Chen about to get up, he added, "Several things have been made." What did you say?" Zhang Chen asked. Xiao Zhao couldn't help it any longer, and laughed and said, "I went to see it when I came out in the morning. These 2 people did it at about 2 o'clock yesterday. When I went there in the morning, several pieces had already been made. They said, it can be done today." "Really, so fast?" Zhang Chen shouted. "Of course, do you think I'm not in a hurry?" Xiao Zhao said with a smile. "Kaidi and the others are also in a hurry. I went there in the morning, and Kaidi told me that she finally got back the feeling of working overtime in the factory to catch up with the goods. Yesterday the 2 of us were working at night, and before we knew it, it was 2 o'clock, and she said, 'Don't you also have to rush the goods?'" Haha. Zhang Chen laughed and said, "This Kaidi always makes amazing remarks. She is right. We just have to rush the goods, and there is nothing here. Okay, I'm going." Zhang Chen left in a hurry. Xiao Zhao looked at his back and couldn't help but laugh. A Yang came over and asked, "What is Zhang Chen doing in such a hurry these 2 days?" Zhang Chen arrived at the fabric market and went directly to the Taiwanese stall. What he was thinking about was the printed lycra fabric in his stall. This fabric comes in 3 colors and 3 patterns. He thinks that using it to make long-sleeved, tight-fitting round-neck t-shirts will contrast with the cotton and linen shirts in his stall, but the contrast will be interesting, so there may not be many people. "I like it, but I'm afraid that the color is too bright. The pattern is very similar to Zhao Waoqi's paintings, which are abstract and irregular color blocks. Zhang Chen feels that this fabric is closer to the clothes he has seen during fashion weeks, so there may not be many people who actually buy it." At that time, people in mainland China tended to dress more conservatively, and the word sexy was still ambiguous, and Heiken is different. Girls don't think that sex is their advantage and they must express it boldly. Zhang Chen thought that these 3 colors of tight-fitting t-shirts would definitely look good on the wall. Paired with jeans, they would be very brand-like and eye-catching, unlike most stalls in the market. Zhang Chen walked over and tried it with his hands. The elasticity of this fabric was very good, better than ordinary fabrics with spandex added. It was just as he expected. Zhang Chen asked the boss how much this fabric cost per meter. The Taiwanese boss was in his 30s. He looked at Zhang Chen and did not directly say how much a meter would cost. Instead, he smiled gently and said to Zhang Chen, "Finally made a move." Zhang Chen didn't expect that the other party would say such a thing out of the blue. Instead, he was stunned for a moment and asked, "What did you say?" "I said you finally took action." The boss smiled. "How many times have you come to my stall?" "Every time you come, you just look at it and never ask about the price." "Are you a designer?" Zhang Chen asked curiously, "How do you know?" "Although it's only your 2nd day as a fashion designer, the other person didn't ask you if you were a fashion designer. He just asked you if you were a designer. It's always right to say you are a designer." Zhang Chen nodded and asked, "How do you know?" "I can see that every time you come here, your focus is different from others." "Oh, why is it different?" Zhang Chen became interested and asked. The boss pointed to the stool next to him and said, Please sit down. Zhang Chen sat down. The boss made a cup of tea and told Zhang Chen, "This is Taiwan's frozen oolong. Try it." Zhang Chen picked it up, took a sip, and frowned. "How is it? How does it compare with Longjing?" the other party asked. "It's bitter and I'm not used to it," Zhang Chen said honestly. The other person smiled, probably laughing at him, and answered honestly. Zhang Chen was still curious about the previous question, and then asked, "You said that my focus is different from others. Why is it different? Other people come here to buy cloth for themselves or their relatives and friends. Their goals and eyes are very direct. That is, when they look at this cloth, what they see in their eyes is very specific. What am I going to do?" He stared at the fabric to see if the color was suitable. "You are different. Your eyes are unfocused. I feel your eyes are wandering as you look, you are thinking, you are not looking at whether the cloth is good or not. What you are thinking about is not its functionality. You are just attracted by it. The fabric itself is attractive, but it's not clear what you want to use it for, so you haven't made a move. You are like a painter who is still in the stage of deliberation. You are using this fabric to construct an image in your brain. This image is still a bit vague. You need to think step by step to create an atmosphere." Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. He didn't expect that when he was looking at the things in other people's stalls, others were always observing you. It was true to what the poem said, you are watching the scenery on the bridge, and the people watching the scenery are upstairs look at you. So I concluded very early on that you were a designer. Am I right? The boss asked. Yes, you are absolutely right. I do like to look at fabrics, Zhang Chen said with a smile. However, I never opened my mouth because I hadn't thought of buying it at that time. People kept asking for prices but didn't buy. Isn't it annoying? I just don't want to be the person who is hated. The boss laughed. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 546. Actually, I'm also very curious about you, Zhang Chen said. Oh, what are you curious about? Why do you, a Taiwanese, come here and open such a stall? Besides, you don't seem to be very. Not like a businessman, right? The boss asked. Zhang Chen nodded. I am indeed not a businessman. I am a junior high school teacher in Taiwan, teaching Chinese. How did you come to Hangzhou? Zhang Chen asked. The boss took a sip of tea and was silent for a while. Before he could speak, he laughed and said, "This is very simple to say. I fell in love with a girl from Hangzhou. I met her when I was traveling to Hangzhou. She was the front desk of the hotel where I stayed. Later, we got married. After we got married, she refused to go to Taiwan, and it was not very convenient to go there, so I was the only one coming to the mainland. But I'm here, what can I do here? All I know is teaching, and I have no other skills. When I go to Hangzhou, I can't even teach. The textbooks and teaching requirements on both sides of the Taiwan Strait are completely different. Haha, I can't. Should we teach students the Three People's Principles? Besides, I can't even read simplified Chinese characters. How can I teach students? I'm not qualified to teach a kindergarten. My uncle came to the mainland a long time ago and opened a clothing factory in Dongguan, specializing in OEM for some world-famous brands. He gave me an idea to open such a stall here. As for him, after every order is completed, there will be some leftover fabrics in the factory, which are sent from Dongguan to me to sell here, so that he can finally support his family. So that's it? Zhang Chen nodded. No wonder the fabrics here always feel very novel. It turns out they are really used by famous brands. He said that the fabrics here are very famous, and he was right. The fabrics you have here are indeed very good, Zhang Chen said to the boss, so every time I come to the fabric market, I will definitely come to your store to take a look. The fabric is good, but there is one problem. What's wrong? All the fabrics I have here are used up once they are used up. If you want to replenish them, they are gone. I have a few friends from Shanghai clothing companies. They get goods from me. This is the biggest headache. Zhang Chen nodded, thinking that these fabrics should be processed from materials supplied by big brands. Even his uncle didn't know where this fabric was produced. If you still want it after using it, where can you find it? For clothing companies, it is really a headache when a style has just been sold and the fabric is gone. The boss's surname was Cai, and his name was Cai Jingxiang. After the two sat down, they chatted for more than an hour. When Zhang Chen chatted with boss Cai, he naturally thought of Liu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty. He felt that he was probably also a dependent village boy. Although boss Cai and Liu Bang, the founder of the Han dynasty, are two people with completely different styles, they have one thing in common, and that is bringing in seeds. When traveling, you meet a girl, fall in love with her, marry her, and then go to a strange city without caring about anything else, a city where you know that it will be difficult for you to find a job. If people don't bring seeds, who will? Although he was gentle when he spoke and laughed, there was something very hard in his bones. Knowing that it would be impolite to ask for more details, Zhang Chen still asked, "Is boss Cai a child of the military village? Do you know the military community?" Boss Cai felt strange. Zhang Chen smiled and said to him, "I used to know a Taiwanese boss. He told me a lot about military dependence villages and I was very impressed." Boss Cai said, "I am not from the military community, but I am very familiar with the military community. Many of my relatives, including family friends and my classmates, are all from the military community." Seeing that Zhang Chen didn't understand, boss Cai smiled and said, "My father was in mainland China. He lost his pants after losing the war and ran away to Taiwan naked. My mother is from this province. They got married and had children in Taiwan. My mother, and their family have 4 daughters. My mother is the youngest. When they get married, my father is, how do you say it in your mainland dialect? Break the door upside down. Yes, I cut the door upside down. But many of my father's relatives and fellow villagers, including his comrades in the army, are in the military village, so I am very familiar with the military village." The two of them left each other's contact information. Zhang Chen also bought 5 meters of fabrics in each of the 3 colors. The width of the fabric was very wide, 1.8 meters. Such a wide width must have been taken into account the lycra fabric. The whole piece of clothing needs to be cut and cannot be spliced. If the door width is too narrow, typesetting will be difficult and fabric will be wasted. Zhang Chen used it to make a tight-fitting t-shirt. In fact, it didn't use 5 meters, 2 meters was enough. But Zhang Chen didn't know why. He always felt that after chatting with the other party for so long, he just bought a little bit of fabric and couldn't explain it. The fabric is indeed a bit expensive, at 38 meters, it should be more expensive than all the fabrics at other stalls in the market. Even the thick pure wool fabric used for coats only cost about 20 yuan per meter at that time. Cai Jingxiang reminded him that your fabric should be matched with YKK zippers, not Yuwa ones, and don't buy fake YKK ones. Zhang Chen scratched his head and said to boss Cai, "I really don't understand this zipper, and I don't know how to distinguish between authenticity and fakeness. You will know by comparing. In this way, if you go to the store in this market, enter through the main door and go up to the store under the stairs on the 2nd floor, you can tell the boss that he is my friend. The zippers there are very complicated, but there are many good things, including other auxiliary materials, which are left over from external orders collected from the factory. Zhang Chen quickly said thank you. Zhang Chen found this stall and told the boss that he was a friend of Boss CAI. The other person opened the cabinet under the glass shelf and took out 2 large cartons of YKK zippers for him to choose from. Boss CAI was right. As soon as he got the zipper in his hand, Zhang Chen felt the difference. These zippers were very thin, soft, and light. They seemed to be of good quality. He just pinched them in his hand and pulled them hard. They were nylon zippers. The teeth won't break either. Zhang Chen thought about it. If this lycra fabric was put on a normal zipper, it would definitely curl up at the end of the zipper. Boss CAI's reminder was really timely. It didn't look like he meant what he said. Teach and nothing else. Zhang Chen returned home first, took his sketchbook, thought for a while, and then picked up a stack of clothing magazines. There were some elements in them that could be used as a reference when designing. Zhang Chen could also design at home, but he always felt that when Zhao Zhigang and the others listened to the sound of sewing machines nearby, they became more inspired. What's more, he was eager to see his cotton and linen shirt. Zhang Chen arrived at Zhao Zhigang's store and saw both of them using sewing machines. There was a pile of clothes piled on the cutting table. Zhang Chen was overjoyed. He quickly put down the things in his hands, picked up one piece, and put it on the mannequin. I almost exclaimed, "This is my debut design." No, the second one, the first one is Xiao Zhao's maternity dress. When he saw that the shirt on the mannequin was exactly the same as what he had imagined, he suddenly felt a very solid feeling in his heart. This is just like when you are painting, the picture of the finished work will appear in your mind. When doing decoration design, the picture of the completed work will appear in your mind. When all the things in your imagination are in harmony with reality, you will know that you are correct. When you feel like this, design will become a very wonderful thing. The completed imaginary picture will run through your entire design process. It will look at you silently, just like you look at the scenery. The difference between the person watching you upstairs is that when you go astray in the process, he will remind you in time and let you go back to the original path. Zhang Chen now felt that he was right, and he was very confident in what he was going to design next. He took out the buttons he just bought and gesticulated on the shirt. He felt that it was just like what he had imagined when he bought it. After these buttons were nailed on, the effect would come out and they would add a lot of color to the shirt. Zhao Zhigang stood up and walked over. He saw Zhang Chen's newly bought fabrics and knew that Zhang Chen was planning to design new styles again. He found a cardboard box and put all the clothes on the cutting table into the cardboard box, along with Zhang Chen. Said, "Here it is for you." How considerate. Zhang Chen smiled. Zhao Zhigang also smiled, went back to the sewing machine, and continued working. Kaidi shouted without looking back, "It's so noisy here, how can you still design it? You can only paint well if you make noise," Zhang Chen shouted. Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi both shook their heads, thinking that this guy was really weird. Zhang Chen had never felt this problem before. When Kaidi asked, he remembered it. It was really like this. He used to paint scenes in front of the troops' rehearsal hall. There was a whole scene rehearsing behind me, singing, playing drums, and playing drums, cymbals, clang, 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 clang. How would it affect me? It seems to be the same. The more they quarrel, the more energetic they draw. Do you still need to frown when you draw? Zhang Chen pulled up a stool and sat down on the head of the cutting table. He knew that this cutting table was multi-purpose. When cutting, it needed to cut, iron, and iron. When it comes to clothes, this is also the ironing station, so I can't have it all to myself. Zhao Zhigang seemed to have thought of something. He turned off the motor of the sewing machine, stood up and walked over. He picked up the bag of lycra fabric and looked at it. He frowned and asked, is this the new fabric you bought? Zhang Chen said yes, what's the problem? This fabric is very difficult to machine, so we usually use an interlock sewing machine. Can't this sewing machine do it? Kaidi heard their conversation and came over. She looked at the fabric and told Zhang Chen that it was difficult to make and the stitches would skip and not move. Zhang Chen became nervous as soon as he heard this. Damn it, he was so full of passion that a basin of cold water was poured over his head. No matter how beautiful the fabric is, what's the use if it can't be made into clothes? Kaidi picked up the scissors, cut a long strip at the very edge, and returned to the sewing machine. Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang followed. Kaidi folded the fabric in half, placed it under the presser foot, and started the machine. Sure enough, the needle was running up and down, but the fabric under the presser foot would not move even if it moved, and the thread on the needle broke immediately. She turned off the motor, rethreaded the thread, took out the thread shuttle from under the sewing machine, put it back after sorting it, and stepped on the pedal. The result was still the same. Kaidi stopped, turned around, and looked at Zhao Zhigang helplessly. Zhang Chen lamented in his heart. It was over. He couldn't make clothes. It was still a small thing to spend money on fabrics. His entire plan was ruined. He had to find other fabrics, rethink new styles, and replan the layout of that wall. Zhao Zhigang kept silent and walked away. After a while, he came over with a thin piece of paper. Zhang Chen and Kaidi didn't understand what he was doing with the piece of paper. Zhao Zhigang told Kaidi, "Stand up and let me try." Kaidi stood up, and Zhao Zhigang sat down. He first put the piece of paper on the needle board, and then put the lycra fabric on the paper. He crossed the needle bar with his right hand to pull it in front, and his left hand in the back, started the machine, click da-da-da-da, the piece of fabric started to move. Kaidi and Zhang Chen couldn't help but clap their hands. Zhao Zhigang stopped, turned the piece of fabric over, and tore off the layer of paper sewn on it. A seam was completed. He told Kaidi that that was it, and he would tie it with his hands in front. Kaidi kept saying, "Okay, I understand." Zhang Chen excitedly patted Zhao Zhigang on the shoulder and shouted, "Damn you, you are really a little technical expert." Zhao Zhigang chuckled. "Thank you U2051596 for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the reading and votes. I wish you all good health." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 547. 25 pieces of cotton and linen shirts were ready. Xiao Zhao couldn't wait and wanted to take them to the stall for samples the next day. Zhang Chen said to wait. "What are you waiting for? These clothes have been made, why don't you sell them quickly?" Xiao Zhao shouted. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said that there is only one wall now, and they will wait for another day, and when the other wall is finished, we can make samples together. Also, our advertisements will be reappeared in the world, so that they will be attractive. "What the hell, it's like acting," Xiao Zhao said with a pout. Zhang Chen laughed and said, "It's really just acting. What we want is this effect. As soon as the curtain opens, the stage shines. The eyes of the audience light up. You will never think that when the curtain opens, the protagonist will still be there. Do you have to get dressed in a hurry on stage?" "I don't care, I just want people to buy our clothes," Xiao Zhao said. Xiao Zhao said it was over, but Zhang Chen said to wait for one more day, and she decided to wait for another day. When it came to pulling off stunts, she felt that Zhang Chen was 10 times better than her at pulling off stunts, so she might as well listen to him. The cotton and linen shirts come in 5 colors and 5 styles, 1 color of fabric and 1 style. Lycra fabric saves more fabric than Zhang Chen imagined. When the sets are lined up, a long-sleeved t-shirt can be made in an average of less than 30 centimeters. Zhang Chen simply designed 2 styles and 3 colors, one with a round neck and the other with a sweetheart neck. When the t-shirt came out, Xiao Zhao quit again. She looked at her big belly and shouted, "I can't even wear such beautiful clothes, you will bully others." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Keep it then, you can wear it next spring." Xiao Zhao smiled happily and said, "It's settled. 6 of them are mine. I'll just keep them for show in the store and I'm not allowed to sell them." Zhang Chen agreed to hang up the clothes on the racks, otherwise there would be too few clothes on the racks and they would not look good. The next morning, Zhang Chen got up, and Xiao Zhao also got up. Zhang Chen asked her to continue sleeping, but Xiao Zhao refused to say anything and insisted on going with Zhang Chen. She said that on such an important day today, of course we, a family of 3, should go, otherwise, I won't be able to sleep at home. Zhang Chen thought it made sense and agreed. When the 2 of them arrived at the stall, Zhang Chen took the clothes and jeans that needed to be placed on the walls and hangers to the ironing room for ironing. When they came back, Xiao Zhao had already cleaned both walls. Zhang Chen hung the men's jeans and the remaining summer clothes on the inner row of the vertical hangers, leaving the outer row aside for hanging new models later, one for each style and size. This way, when a customer wants to try it on, just give her the ironed one on the hanger. When she wants to buy it, give her the one wrapped in the plastic bag below. After this calculation, there are 21 clothes on the hanger, which is enough. The 2 people were busy. Ayang and Feng Zhen came over. Ayang asked, "What are you 2 doing?" Zhang Chen told him that he was ready to show off. "When did you go to buy goods?" Ayang asked. "From the old market." Zhang Chen shook his head, and Xiao Zhao said with some pride, "He designed our own goods." Ayang shouted, "Rely on me." Seeing Feng Zhen here, Zhang Chen picked up the advertisement "Autumn wind rises, autumn clothes are thick" that he had painted yesterday, and deliberately asked Xiao Zhao, "Then should I hang this advertisement?" In fact, he meant to tell Feng Zhen face to face that if he had any opinions, he could speak directly. Xiao Zhao nodded and said yes. The boss of the ironing room knew that they were waiting for samples, so he asked the waiter to send some of the clothes that had been ironed first. Looking at these clothes, Ayang shouted, "Zhang Chen, is this what you designed?" Zhang Chen said yes. "It has a future and is no worse than those in the old market," Ayang said. Zhang Chen smiled and thought to himself, "Are you humming scolding me?" He first took out the model outside. The bottom was a pair of jeans and the top was a tight t-shirt made of lycra fabric. After it was finished, he felt that something was missing. After thinking for a while, he told Ayang to bring over your denim vest. "Go ahead and choose," Ayang said quickly, knowing what Zhang Chen was going to do. Zhang Chen went to Ayang's stall, picked a vest, and asked Ayang how much he could sell it for. Ayang said that it would be anything over 45, and Zhang Chen made it clear. He put his vest on over his long-sleeved t-shirt and left it open in front. The whole model looked very fashionable. Feng Zhen had already walked back to her stall and sat there, looking at them without saying anything. Zhang Chen started to show off his long clothes on the wall. He picked out 5 pairs of jeans and 5 plaid shirts in size M. In fact, the ones in size S looked better, but wasn't there only one piece in size S? When they showed up on the wall, if someone wants to try it, you have to take it off the wall, which is very inconvenient. Zhang Chen had already thought about it. He would not use a half-body plastic template like other stalls. Instead, he would use clips to directly clip the shirt and jeans to the grid, with his body sideways and one arm on the rack. In front, one arm behind, the trousers underneath are also slanted, and one trouser leg is lifted up. After coming out, it looked like a row of 5 girls running together. He felt that the 5 girls were too consistent, so he opened a corner of the front shirt, folded it over and clamped it, as if it was blown by the wind. Open the same. After leaving, Zhang Chen turned around and asked Ayang and Xiao Zhao how they were doing. Xiao Zhao nodded, and Ayang said, "You have a pretty head and a pretty head, but your hair looks good." The short wall is next. It is made of lycra fabric. There are no sizes. There are only 2 styles and 3 colors. Zhangchen has a red sweetheart collar in the middle, with a blue one and a yellow one on both sides. Round neck t-shirt. Because it is a tight-fitting t-shirt, to reflect its tight-fitting characteristics, a template is needed. Zhangchen put the clothes on the template, tightened it, and clamped it with a clip at the back. The uneven upper body came out immediately. 3 pairs of sand-washed white jeans were put on underneath, and the 2 trouser legs were clamped together with clips. After hanging on the grid, 3 slim girls stood there. A customer pulling a handcart hurried in from the main channel outside, passed by in a hurry, walked over and then came back. He stood outside the stall, pointed at the cotton and linen shirts on the wall and asked, "How much does this cost?" 39, Zhangchen said. Without saying a word, the customer picked up the handcart and left in a hurry. Zhangchen and Xiao Zhao looked at each other, and Xiao Zhao asked Zhangchen if the price had been raised. Zhangchen didn't understand either. "How much does this clothes cost?" Xiao Zhao asked. Zhangchen took the calculator and thought, the fabric should not be calculated as 8 yuan, but 4 yuan per meter, 1 meter per piece, plus the loss, it should still be calculated as 1 meter, the fabric would be calculated as 4 yuan, and the workmanship would be 15. Buttons, washable labels, plastic bags outside the packaging, these add up to 2.5 yuan, which is definitely enough. 22, Zhangchen and Xiao Zhao said. Xiao Zhao opened his mouth wide. 22. Then you still say 39? You want to make 17 yuan for 1 piece of wholesale, are you too greedy? Zhangchen scratched his head and said, "What should we do? Open 29. Even if you open 29, you can still earn 7 yuan from a piece of clothing. For wholesalers, this profit is already good. You pay me, you pay me." It took 10,000 years for such a wholesale customer to come in, but you scared me away. Xiao Zhao rubbed his shoulder against Zhangchen and kept muttering. Zhangchen also felt very sorry. He smiled and said, "Okay, if I see her again, I will hug her in." As soon as Zhangchen finished speaking, the customer appeared at the door of their stall again. She parked the cart at the door, walked in and asked, "What size is this shirt?" 3, Zhangchen said quickly. "Do you want to take 38? The other party asked. Zhangchen was stunned for a moment, and Xiao Zhao nodded quickly. The customer pointed at the wall and said, "Here, these 3 colors, please help me get 1 piece of each size." Zhangchen took the 9 pieces of clothing and put them into a big black bag. The customer took out the clothes and told Zhangchen that she didn't want this. She returned the big black bag to Zhangchen and turned around to put the clothes into the cart. I put it in the canvas bag, paid the money and left. In just a few days, the old market has begun to sell new products, and the old market has returned to its former bustle. This customer was in urgent need of urination. There was a queue at the toilet in the old market, so she ran to the new market to use the toilet. I didn't expect to see this product here. She was in the old market and walked around for several hours in the morning, but she never saw it. After using the toilet, she came back and entered. After collecting the money, Xiao Zhao stood up and looked at Zhangchen, who kept giggling. Zhangchen asked her quietly, "Should I go and bring her back and tell her, give her 29? Xiao Zhao chuckled, "Then I'll sell you to her." Zhangchen, like Xiao Zhao, was also happy. This was their first wholesale customer. How could he not be happy? He had done several wholesales before, but they were all sold at a loss. This was the only one that made money. More importantly, the clothes that made money were designed by him. It seemed that the goods he designed were no better than the ones he designed. Guangzhou goods difference. A Yang came over and asked, "Are you opening the eggs, or are you wholesale?" Xiao Zhao stood there with her hands on Zhangchen's shoulders, her whole body almost hanging on him. She nodded. Yang shook his head and sighed, I didn't expect that there would be wholesale customers in this broken market. After more than half an hour, a woman hurried in from the main passage, looking at the stalls on both sides. She saw Zhang Chen and his stalls from a distance, so she walked over. As soon as she came in, she said to herself, found it. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao looked at her, wondering what she was going to do. She pointed to the 3 colored shirts that the woman in front had taken and said, these 3, one of each size, hurry up, our car is about to leave. They only have size M, Zhang Chen said. Size M? I want one of the same, and those 2 colors. Are the sizes the same? The other party asked. Zhang Chen talked to her, and she immediately told her one size and one size. The clothes were all taken away, and she said, 38, right? Let's check out quickly. When Xiao Zhao was settling the accounts for her, Zhang Chen remembered it and asked, Beauty, are you friends with the person who came here to buy goods before? Yes, she introduced me. Are you together? No, she is in Wuhu and I am in Ma'anshan. Wuhu and Ma'anshan are 2 neighboring cities in Anhui province. The 2 girls often come to Hangzhou Sijiking to purchase goods. Although they don't take the same bus, they meet in the parking lot and where they eat breakfast and buy box lunches. We bump into each other, sometimes in markets and toilets. When we hear each other's Anhui accent in Mandarin, we know they are from the same hometown, and we become friends. Become friends and exchange information with each other. In the parking lot, the girl told her that the goods at this stall were good, so she hurried over. Thank you Brokeback Mountain for the tip. Thank you for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 548. Just like that, out of the 25 cotton and linen shirts, only 7 were left. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao both felt caught off guard. This was too fast. It turns out that this is how wholesale is done. This is how clothes wholesale. They have seen it before, but have never tasted it in person. They have only been solicitors in Guangzhou, but the feelings of buyers and sellers are different. They feel that the seller is still happy. After all, one has to pay with money. When you go out, the other is to collect the money. Where you pay, you will feel happy when you receive it. Xiao Zhao picked up the calculator, put her fingers on the buttons, and pressed them quickly. Then she put down the calculator. She looked at Zhang Chen and almost cried. She said, honey, this time, we made 280 yuan. $8. Zhang Chen nodded. Is this too fast? Xiao Zhao's voice was trembling. Zhang Chen looked at her and said, do you want to go slower? No, no, the sooner the better. It's best to make my fingers cramp. Xiao Zhao shouted softly. As she screamed, she turned around subconsciously. Zhang Chen understood that she didn't want Feng Zhen to see the excitement on her face. Zhang Chen couldn't help but think, what the hell, what the hell? What, I'm doing my business and I still have to act like a thief. Zhang Chen sat there and looked at the 2 shirts left on the vertical clothes rack, and then there were the 5 items on the wall. He felt that he didn't have to worry about these clothes at all. Zhao's Hegang was right. They were unique to the market. He didn't have to worry about other stalls in other markets having the same products. If so, they must be copying me. I, Zhang Chen, keep my word and will never do such despicable things as imitation. Not only will I not do imitation, I will not even buy other people's products. Always imitated, never surpassed. Zhang Chen suddenly thought of the sentence in the Coca-Cola TV commercial shot by Michael Jackson, and couldn't help but smile a little proudly. It feels so good to have never been surpassed or imitated, and I feel really at ease. He thought, isn't this the reason why the price of his clothes can be so high, which shocked himself. It turns out that this is the power of originality and the charm of designing and producing clothes by yourself. We are our own source of goods. Zhang Chen felt that Xiao Zhao's words were comparable to Coca-Cola's advertising slogan. By the way, when your stall is filled with clothes designed by yourself, you must hang this sentence outside as an advertising slogan. There are only 7 pieces, and they are all in size M. Do we need to restock? Zhang Chen asked Xiao Zhao. I want it, of course I want it, dear. I just wanted to tell you, hurry up and get the fabric. Kaidi and the others can make it in the afternoon, Xiao Zhao said. Zhang Chen hesitated. He told Xiao Zhao that this fabric was a bit troublesome. What's the trouble? Xiao Zhao asked. I bought this fabric from the Dongxin Road fabric market. I haven't seen this fabric elsewhere. They don't sell it for retail on Dongxin Road. The fabric I sampled last time was somehow tricked. If you don't sell it for retail, how much do you need to buy in? Zhang Chen made an estimate and said, if all 5 rolls of fabric are loaded, it will be about more than 1,000 meters. So much? Zhang Chen nodded, and Xiao Zhao calculated that it would cost 5 or 6,000 yuan for more than 1,000 meters. Thinking about this number, Xiao Zhao was shocked. They had all just been bitten by a snake. It is impossible for a person to say that he is not afraid. Calculating again, this more than 1,000 meters can be used to make more than 1,000 pieces of clothing. This number shocked Xiao Zhao again. More than 1,000 pieces, when will these be sold? Not only do they sell it, Kaidi and the others do it every day, so how long will it take? But, Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said. Honey, I think I'd better go in. Are you crazy? It's more than 1,000 meters. Can you make more than 1,000 shirts? Yes, we can't make it all at once. Just think, Kaidi and the others can't make it. The fabric itself is cheap. We are putting fabrics, not clothes, so there is nothing to be afraid of. Where the fabric is placed, is it different from the backlog of clothing? If the fabric is placed there, it will not be used up this year, but it can still be used next year. Don't you think that's right? Xiao Zhao said, and Zhang Chen also felt that it made sense. He dared to buy more than 2,000 pairs of jeans. What should he be afraid of with more than 1,000 meters of fabric? Although these jeans have a big hole, it is because of the European size, otherwise it would not be the same. If you are not afraid of the backlog, if the Beijing guy takes it, he will still be able to sell it. If he sells it to Laomazi, the price will definitely not be less than 10 yuan a piece. Wherever the fabric is placed, there is no need to worry about the backlog. You can completely control how much you sell. If this style cannot be sold, then you can design a new style to sell. There is nothing to worry about. Compared with other fabrics, the biggest advantage of this cotton and linen fabric is that it will not go out of style. These colors and small squares have become classics. Unlike fashion fabrics, it does not rise and go in a gust. This year, houndstooth is popular, next year Mondrian's large squares are popular, and the year after that, Klimt's Kiss of the Vienna Secession is printed on the cloth. If you bring out the popular patterns this year next year, people will vomit when they see them. No matter how new the style is, as long as the pattern is old, it will look like old clothes. As for plaid cotton and linen, they are produced year after year and remain the same year after year. What people like is the old-fashioned feel of cotton and linen. If you are too new, you will become old-fashioned. Cotton and linen fabrics are not what you want now. If possible, wash or sand wash the finished garments to make them older, which will definitely make them more popular. Where these fabrics are placed depends on how you design them. Haven't they been put there for so long? If you take them out today, won't they still be easy to sell? Who thinks they are old fabrics? You're right, let's try again. Zhang Chen also made up his mind. Good. Today's business money was definitely not enough to buy fabrics. Xiao Zhao took out his bank book from his bag, handed it to Jiang Chen, and asked him to go to the bank at the door to withdraw money, and then quickly went to buy fabrics. "I'll buy you a lunchbox first." Jiang Chen looked at his watch. Time flew by so fast. As soon as he got busy, the time passed unknowingly. It was now lunchtime. "Oh, don't worry about me, I will arrange it myself." Xiao Zhao raised his head and looked at Feng Zhen opposite. Feng Zhen's face seemed to be gloomy again. Xiao Zhao shook his head and continued, "I'll give it to you later, just bring one back for me." Jiang Chen said yes and stood up. As soon as he walked out of the stall, he saw a few girls from the bank walking in the aisle. Jiang Chen stepped back and Xiao Zhao asked curiously, "Why don't you go?" Jiang Chen said he would wait a moment. "What are you waiting for?" Jiang Chen was waiting for the girls to come over. He knew that when they saw the changes here, they would definitely come to their stall to take a look. He wanted to see their reaction to this batch of clothes. They were all locals from Hangzhou. Their opinions can basically represent their own design, whether it meets the taste of Hangzhou people, or even city people. Xiao Zhao was about to continue urging when she saw the girls walking towards their stall. She knew in her heart that Jiang Chen wanted to do their business. Xiao Zhao smiled, simply stood up, took the money from the drawer, and talked with Jiang Chen. Chen said, "I'm going to buy a lunch box." It happened to be lunchtime, and there were many people eating fast food. There was a long queue at the stalls and the customers coming and going. Xiao Zhao waited for more than 10 minutes before it was her turn. She bought two. After picking up a packed lunch, I walked back and saw 3 empty spots on the front wall from a distance. I thought they must have been taken down for testing. The 3 girls were still trying on clothes. Their presence seemed to have attracted a customer who was pulling a trolley to purchase goods. When Xiao Zhao saw her paying, his eyes lit up and he almost screamed. It looked like Jiang Chen. I started another wholesale business, and it was really fast to get wholesale customers. Xiao Zhao took the lunch box and simply went to a Yang stall. As soon as she approached, a Yang happily said to her softly, "I'm also happy." "That's great," Xiao Zhao exclaimed. "Your husband made it for me." "Ah," Xiao Zhao was surprised. Yang stretched out 2 fingers and shook them at her, which meant that 2 pieces were sold. Xiao Zhao saw the wholesale customer leaving, and then the 3 girls also left with bags. Xiao Zhao hurried over, and a Yang followed. Jiang Chen saw a Yang and took 100 yuan from the drawer. "Give him the money and tell him it's yours." It looked like they cost 50 yuan each. He approved 2 denim vests for Yang. "Husband, how much did that person take?" Xiao Zhao asked. Jiang Chen told them that the model outside took 2 sets like the one above, plus 2 pairs of pants, 4 t-shirts, and 3 cotton and linen shirts. "So much?" Jiang Chen smiled and nodded. Yang slapped the 100 yuan on his face and said with a happy smile, "Damn it, I finally received the money from the wholesale customer." Jiang Chen looked at the row of vertical clothes racks and saw that they were almost empty. He asked Yang, "Why don't you iron some more women's denim jackets and hang them here?" Okay, your place has become a feng shui treasure land now." Yang shouted and walked out. Jiang Chen followed him and chose 3 styles of denim jackets and handed them to Yang. Yang quickly took them and ironed them. Jiang Chen went back to his stall. Xiao Zhao asked Jiang Chen, "What did the 3 girls buy?" Jiang Chen told her, "A pair of pants, 3 t-shirts, 3 people asked for 3 different colors, and a shirt. By the way, I still owe them a shirt, so I asked her to give it to the wholesale customer first." Xiao Zhao smiled and said, "Who is this? I listen to you so much." Jiang Chen did not tell her which one, but said, "I told her that it would be better for her to wear a small size, and there will be a small size tomorrow." "There will be a trumpet tomorrow? Are you trying to force Kaidi and the others to death?" "Yes, didn't Kaidi say that she likes the long-lost feeling of working overtime?" Let her enjoy it today. Jiang Chen smiled. Xiao Zhao also smiled, and she said, yes, now you have exposed your ruthless face. Don't you also have the face of a landlord's wife? Jiang Chen choked back. Okay, old landlord, let's eat first. Jiang Chen sighed and said, hey, the sun is so bright outside. After dinner, the old landlord will go to work as a long-term laborer. Xiao Zhao laughed loudly and cursed, it tastes so good during the meal, but you are not allowed to talk. I almost choked. Then who was talking just now? Xiao Zhao glared at Jiang Chen, put the big steak in his lunchbox into Jiang Chen's lunchbox, and said to him, okay, this is a reward for you. Can the old Chang Gong eat 2 big steaks in one meal? Jiang Chen wanted to take the pay back to Xiao Zhao, but he said, I will not compete with my son for meat. Xiao Zhao pulled out another big piece of steak from under the rice, grinning, eat it, I added another piece, your son won't scold you. Thank you for your monthly pass. Thank you for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 549. After withdrawing the money, Jiang Chen rode home. The landlord had a tricycle that they used to deliver vegetables to the Sanliting farmers market every early morning. They came back at noon and parked it in the yard in the afternoon. They would not use it again. Jiang Chen decided to ask him to borrow a tricycle and go to Dongxin Road to buy fabrics. Otherwise, he really doesn't know where to find a car this time. At the entrance of the Dongxin Road fabric market, every time Jiang Chen went there were 2 or 3 tricycles parked. But at that time, the reputation of the tricycle drivers, in Hangzhou was very bad. They would charge a lot of money, especially depending on who you were. Foreigners, after you ask the price, it won't work if you don't let him pull it. Anyway, I have to ride a bicycle there. How different will it be from riding a bicycle to riding a tricycle? You can also save on shipping costs. In addition, he also wanted to tell Zhao Zhigang and the others that it was best to work overtime at night to help them catch some goods, otherwise they would have nothing to sell in their stall tomorrow. Now go tell them that they should prepare more. Get some sleep, get some more sleep. Jiang Chen returned home and saw a tricycle parked in the yard. The landlord, who had probably just come back, was sitting in the cool place in front of the hall. There were 2 plates of food on the square stool in front of him, and he was sitting on a bamboo chair, drinking old wine leisurely. When he saw Jiang Chen, the landlord called, come on, come over and have a drink. Jiang Chen quickly told him, I just had dinner and I would like to borrow your tricycle to pull something. Where are you going? Asked the landlord. Dongxin Road Fabric Market. That's a bit of a road. Do you know how to ride? If not, I'll help you go there. Yeah, I've learned this before. Jiang Chen smiled. Okay, then you ride away. Jiang Chen parked his bicycle, got on the tricycle, and made a U-turn in the yard. The landlord smiled and said, hey, I can't tell, it's good, the ride was pretty smooth. Jiang Chen waved his hand and rushed out of the courtyard on his tricycle. It all depends on Heiken. At Yilin's house, when they have nothing to do, he and Lu Ligan will ride Yilin's mother's tricycle below to play. Unexpectedly, it will come in handy today. It seems that he has many skills and is not overwhelmed. That's right. Jiang Chen rode a tricycle and arrived at the door of Zhao Zhigang's tailor shop. The 2 of them had not taken a nap today and were working there. Jiang Chen walked in. Zhao Zhigang saw it was him and asked, why are you here now? Jiang Chen told them that he was going to buy fabrics now and would make cotton and linen shirts next. How are the sales of the ones you took this morning? Kaidi asked. We've almost sold it. When I left, there were still 3 pieces left. That's not bad. I just said these styles are all very beautiful, Kaidi said. Zhang Chen smiled and said, so I have to go in to buy fabrics. I heard that you are addicted to working overtime at night. How about you help me get some out tonight? Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi agreed almost at the same time. Zhang Chen asked, by the way, are the accessories still good? How much are your buttons per pack? Zhao Zhigang asked. 300. How much more do you have to do tonight? You can make as many as you can. I'd better make 100 pieces. It's better to wait for goods than for people to wait for goods. The buttons are not enough. Bring back 2 more bags. Zhang Chen said yes. Zhao Zhigang stretched his head to look at the tricycle outside and asked, are you going to ride a tricycle? Zhang Chen said yes. Zhao Zhigang put down what he was doing and said, then I will go with you. Don't you have to work here? Zhang Chen asked. Just a skirt, she can do it by herself. Kaidi raised her hand and waved, and Zhao Zhigang walked out of the store and jumped on the side of the tricycle. Zhang Chen still took the shortcut. When he saw the uphill slope, Zhao Zhigang jumped out of the car and pushed him from behind. When he reached the downhill slope, he jumped into the car again. The 2 people talked all the way, and it seemed that the road was not that long. However, at noon, the sun was still very poisonous. After a while, the 2 of them were almost melted. After riding this tricycle for a long time, there was the bicycle is so light, and even with a person on it, Zhang Chen is already out of breath and feels like he is going to collapse from suffocation. Fortunately, Zhao Zhigang also felt it. More often, he stopped getting in the car and instead ran with it. Zhang Chen saw a small shop on the roadside and stopped. The 2 of them drank a bottle of iced Coca-Cola. Zhang Chen saw bags of rendon and 10 drops of water in plastic bottles on the counter, so he bought rendon. 1 pack per person, pour it into your mouth, and drink it with Coca-Cola. Zhang Chen bought 10 more bottles of 10 drops of water, bit open 2 of them with his teeth, and drank them. He asked Zhao Zhigang to drink too. Zhao Zhigang shook his head and said that it was too unpleasant to drink and would make him want to vomit. Drink it even if you feel like vomiting. It's better than fainting from heat stroke. Zhang Chen cursed. Zhao Zhigang also bit open a bottle and drank it. He only drank half of the bottle and spit it out in 1 gulp. He bent his head to the side and retched. Zhang Chen knew that he couldn't force it and had no choice but to give up. I put the remaining 10 drops of water into my bag and kept it for later. I asked the boss for 2 bottles of Coca-Cola before setting off on the road. When they arrived at the Dongxin Road Fabric Market, Zhang Chen rode his tricycle directly through the gate, parked it at the door of the store, jumped out of the car, and instead of walking into the store, he first went to the bathroom at the end of the corridor, where there was a wash basin. There was a sink for washing mops next to the washstand. Zhang Chen turned on the faucet of the sink, put his head under the faucet, and flushed it. Zhao Zhigang was at the washstand nearby, taking cupfuls of water with both hands and splashing it on his face. Under the sun, I didn't feel it when I kept exercising. When I arrived in the shade, my head was still hit by the water, but Zhang Chen felt that the sweat on his body was spurting out, flowing down his back and stomach, and his shorts were covered with sweat. All wet. Zhang Chen simply took off his shirt, rubbed it twice in the water, and then wiped himself up with his clothes. Seeing this, Zhao Zhigang took off his outer shirt as well, and there was a vest inside. He took the water with his hands and put it in. He patted his shoulders, rolled up the hem of his vest, revealing a section of his white belly, and patted his belly with wet hands. Zhang Chen laughed at him, "Why don't you have fun like this with me?" Zhao Zhigang smiled and blushed, but never took off his vest. Finally, feeling his whole body cool down, Zhang Chen picked up the bag on the sink and walked back shirtless. The boss was standing in the corridor at the door. He still remembered Zhang Chen and saw that they were riding a tricycle. Knowing that he was here to buy fabrics. "Here we come," the boss greeted Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen said he was here. The boss handed over the cigarette and Zhang Chen took it in his hand. The boss handed it to Zhao Zhigang. Zhao Zhigang said, "I don't know how to smoke." The 5 rolls of cotton and linen were folded in half and rolled into a roll. Each roll was as thick as an oil barrel. Zhang Chen felt worried when he looked at it. He thought to himself, if this is a measure, how can it be measured? It is easy to roll it out. If you want to roll it again, if you go back, you will be in trouble. "How many will you take today?" the boss asked. "Take all 5," Zhang Chen said. The boss walked to the table, opened the drawer, brought 5 small pieces of paper over, and said to Zhang Chen, "This is the original label. You just cut it to 5 meters and never sold it?" Zhang Chen took it and looked at it. The product name and meter number were complete. It was originally written in blue and black ink, but now it has faded to the point where it is almost hard to see clearly. The production unit printed below is Hangcheng Cotton Textile Factory. After the manufacturing date, a red stamp, June 18, 1985. The Hangcheng Cotton Textile Factory has now closed down, but the label will definitely be correct, if the boss really never sells it again after buying it. You can measure it if you want. We'll open the rolls one by one and measure them, the boss said. Forget it, I believe you, if you want to measure it, you have to measure it as long as you want, Zhang Chen said. Okay, boss, you are easy to talk to, and I am easy to talk to. In this way, I won't refund you the money last time. I will pay you 3 and 9 yuan today, okay? Zhang Chen looked at the roll label in his hand. The smallest roll was 242 meters long. Calculating it this way, the boss had obviously taken care of himself. You can sell it for $37. Zhao Zhigang was on the side and suddenly said loudly. The boss glanced at him and his face turned red, but he continued. This fabric has been stored for such a long time. If measured, it will have shrunk by at least 7 or 8 meters. Also, no one knows whether it has been soaked in water for such a long time. If it has been soaked in water, the area will be brittle. The entire paragraph cannot be used. Okay, that's it, $3.07 for you. The boss waved his hand and shouted impatiently. The bundle of fabric was so big that the tricycle had to put down the tailgate to put down 3 rolls vertically. There were 2 more rolls. The 3 people lifted them up and piled them horizontally on top. The boss took out strips of cloth from the store and tied them tightly. By the way, he pressed the side rails of the tricycle with his hands, looked at the tires, and told Zhang Chen that cotton and linen are very heavy, weighing 500 to 600 kilograms here, so be careful when riding back, lest the tires burst. Zhang Chen quickly said thank you to the boss. Walking back to the store to check out, Zhang Chen took a fancy to 3 bundles of large plaid fabrics. He thought it would be good to use this for a windbreaker. He asked Zhao Zhigang, how much fabric would be needed to make a waist-cinching windbreaker. 1 meter and 25 meters, Zhao Zhigang said without thinking. When making samples, Zhang Chen became bolder. He no longer followed the ratio of 1:2:1, but made it according to 2:4:2. Only in this way can he know whether a style is good or not. He made a sample first. I made the other 7 items without any problems. For 8 pieces, is 10 meters enough? Zhang Chen asked. It's definitely enough. Zhang Chen asked the boss to give him 10 meters of rice. This time, the boss cut it off without saying a word. He didn't increase the price and gave it to him at 3 yuan and $7. The boss handed him a pen, and Zhang Chen asked, what for? Make a mark yourself, and you will know whether I have sold it next time you come here, the boss told him, and it seemed that he was also a real person. Zhang Chen took the pen and wrote a very small word Zhang on the corners of the 3 rolls of fabric. After writing, he thought to himself, this is really the wisdom of the working people. After paying the money and getting ready to go on the road, Zhang Chen opened his bag, bit open another bottle of 10 drops of water, drank it, and handed a bottle to Zhao Zhigang. Zhao Zhigang ran away as if he had been shocked, and Zhang Chen left. Zhang Chen patted the side rails of the tricycle and told Zhao Zhigang, you can sit here. Zhao Zhigang remembered his boss's words and never dared to sit down again. He said it was too heavy and I pushed him from behind. In such a hot weather, once you take off your clothes, you can't put them back on. Zhang Chen simply continued riding 3 wheels shirtless. Zhao Zhigang ran behind him. When he encountered potholes or going uphill, he would catch up and catch him from behind. Hold the railing of the tricycle and lift the tricycle as high as possible. Carrying such a heavy load of fabrics, Zhang Chen did not dare to take a shortcut. They rode for almost 2 hours before they reached the entrance of the East Station Small Commodity Market. Thank you Lulu 6717P11 for waiting for the monthly ticket. Thank you Tin Soldier, ranked 3rd from top to bottom, reading books every day, and 131 on the shore for your continued rewards. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 550. After taking a shower, Zhang Chen fell on the bed, feeling like his whole body was about to fall apart. He looked at his naked upper body. It was red and swollen, and there seemed to be some blisters. It hurt wherever he touched it. It was sunburn. Bar. Zhang Chen was drowsy in bed. He lay there until 5:30. Then he got up. His feet were sore and he almost couldn't stand. He went downstairs, got in the car, gritted his teeth and kicked forward until he reached Hanghai Road. The whole talon slowly relaxed. It's over, Zhang Chen lamented in his heart again and again. He thought of Zhao Zhigang, this fair and tender guy. He basically followed the car back and forth for such a long journey. He was no better than himself. The 2 people in front carried the fabric. When he entered the store, he saw bundles standing beside the cutting table. He saw that Zhao Zhigang seemed to be dying and almost collapsed to the ground. I'm afraid this guy can't even hold scissors now. How can he work overtime at night? It seems that he won't be able to catch up with the shipment today. If I had known this, I wouldn't have let this guy go. However, this guy went and paid himself 20 cents per meter, and the cost came down again. In that situation, he couldn't ask the boss to make it cheaper. Zhang Chen walked into the stall. Xiao Zhao was shocked when he saw him. He hadn't seen him for an afternoon. Zhang Chen seemed to have changed. Xiao Zhao shouted, "Dear, why have you become a black man?" Zhang Chen smiled, "Is this the old Changgong's true nature now?" Xiao Zhao felt distressed and realized that it was caused by the sun. She complained, "Why don't you know how to wear a hat?" Zhang Chen thought to himself, "I'm still wearing a hat, but you don't know that I wish I could even take off my shorts." But Zhang Chen just told Xiao Zhao, "I'm not used to it. I'm not used to wearing hats." Zhang Chen saw that the front wall was empty and asked, "Where are the clothes here?" Xiao Zhao smiled and said, "They've all been sold." "So, the landlady can still do business, right?" Xiao Zhao took out the accounting book and opened it to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen saw that Xiao Zhao sold 3 more shirts, 4 t-shirts, 3 pairs of jeans, and also sold a denim vest for a Yang. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Awesome. Look here, look here." Xiao Zhao pointed to the last row of numbers and said to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen saw that that was their turnover today, 2,475 yuan. Not counting Qianfang and the others, this was their highest turnover. Xiao Zhao looked at the stall opposite, leaned close to Zhang Chen and said in his ear, "This record was created by me." Zhang Chen nodded repeatedly, "You created it, I sold it, and I sold it under your leadership." Xiao Zhao smiled proudly and said, "Of course, your whole person is mine, and of course the business you do is also mine." "I found a problem," Xiao Zhao said. "What is the problem?" "It seems like even jeans are selling better now. Of course, many people buy clothes, but they actually don't know how to match them. She sees them on a model and thinks they look good, so she wants the same ones. Believe it or not, today Ayang is selling vests. If I buy them tomorrow, if you put the jacket on a model, the person who buys it will definitely choose the jacket." "Yes, I believe it," Xiao Zhao nodded. "Ayang also told me today that it's strange that this vest is in his own stall, and no one is even looking at it. How come the same thing is there when it comes to us? So many people want it?" "Yes, otherwise why do you think about the decoration of those hotels and shopping malls? The more high-end the decoration, the more high-end the goods inside will be. Although they are all the same stalls, you are so attractive that others are more talented. When he comes in, he has subconsciously developed trust in your store." Xiao Zhao looked at him and smiled. "Yes, I didn't expect this old permanent worker to know so much." "That's right, otherwise how could you, a landlady, be abducted by an old farm worker?" The two of them returned to Sanbeo without even returning home. They went directly to Zhao Zhigang's tailor shop. When they got there, Zhang Chen was surprised. He saw Zhao Zhigang tailoring clothes, and Kaidi had already started to do it. Thinking that this fair and tender guy was more powerful than himself, he got closer to Zhao Zhigang and took a look. His face was still fair and tender, without any tan at all. "What are you looking at?" Zhao Zhigang asked when he saw Zhang Chen staring at him. "You guy, why can't you get a tan? Look at me, I've turned into an African." Zhao Zhigang smiled and said that I have been like this since I was a child and I can't get a tan no matter how much I tan. Xiao Zhao and Kaidi said that all the shirts they brought today were sold out. "How many can you make here at night?" Kaidi shook her head, patted the sewing machine, and said to Xiao Zhao, "I have never tried this machine. I was the fastest in the factory before. I can make more than 30 shirts like this in one day pieces." More than 30 items, Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen were surprised. "Are you alone? Don't believe it?" "If you don't believe it, ask him," Kaidi said. "Yes. When I was rushing to get goods, she could make 41 items of the same style at the fastest time," Zhao Zhigang said. Xiao Zhao stretched his head and looked behind him, asking Kaidi, "Have you eaten yet?" "We didn't eat either." Kaidi shook her head, and Xiao Zhao said, "Then you continue to work, let's go buy groceries, and I'll cook." "I'm okay with this." "Yame, what do you want to eat?" Xiao Zhao asked Kaidi. "Twice cooked pork." The next day, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao got up at 5 o'clock. They went to the door of Zhao Zhigang's tailor shop and saw Zhao Zhigang ironing clothes and Kaidi sewing buttons. The two hurried in, got needles and threads, and helped sewing buttons. Xiao Zhao asked Kaidi how many pieces she had made. Kaidi looked unhappy, sighed, and told them that they only drove out 28 items. Zhang Chen felt secretly funny in his heart. He thought that Kaidi must have been very depressed this night. "I'm angry at the sewing machine that can't run any faster." After ironing and wrapping, the clothes were bundled into a bundle. Zhang Chen asked Xiao Zhao to go back to sleep. Xiao Zhao refused and had to go with him. Zhang Chen had no choice but to put the clothes in the bicycle basket in front and let Xiao Zhao sit in the back. When they arrived at the store, Xiao Zhao quickly took his shirt to be ironed. Zhang Chen took a denim jacket and changed the vest on the model at the door. He wanted to verify whether his judgment was correct. Xiao Zhao came back with the ironed clothes, and Zhang Chen started to put out the clothes again. When the third piece was out, a man and a woman walked in. The two looked very affectionate and kept talking, but they seemed they were not a couple, because they were pulling a hand-pulled cart alone. They probably regarded this deserted market as a street. The woman asked Xiao Zhao, Can I try on this dress? Xiao Zhao quickly agreed. Zhang Chen got down from the stool and put on the cloth in the corner. The woman went in, changed her shirt and came out. The man looked at her and nodded slightly. The woman walked to the mirror. Take a photo and ask Zhang Chen, how much does this cost? 38. Can it be cheaper? Zhang Chen shook his head and said, it can't be made any cheaper, and we can't even produce it. Xiao Zhao was listening on the side and almost laughed. What does it mean that it can't be produced? It sounds like the supply exceeds the demand. It's just two people doing it in a tailor shop. Where does this come from? The man asked. He designed our own goods. Xiao Zhao pointed at Zhang Chen and said. After hearing this, the man and the woman couldn't help but look at Zhang Chen. Their heads came together, and Zhang Chen heard the woman say softly, this is a good workmanship. The man looked at the clothes racks and the goods on the floor, and asked, how many more do you have left? Zhang Chen pretended to be calculating in his mind, and after a while, he told them that there were probably less than 30 items left. Are the sizes all the same? Those who have returned everything will be taken away according to 1, 2, 1, and the rest will be the same. Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao almost laughed again. Listening to this tone, it seemed that they had approved a lot in the morning. The man said, give them all to us. He turned around and asked the woman, how much do you want? The woman told half of it. Sure enough, they are from two families. Zhang Chen climbed up on the stool and took down the 3 shirts that had just been sampled from the rack. 2 people took away all 28 shirts, and 1 person asked for 6 pairs of jeans, 6 t-shirts, and 6 denim jackets. When Xiao Zhao walked over and asked a Yang to get the clothes, a Yang's face all white. When checking out, Zhang Chen asked casually, where are you from? Nanjing, the man said. A Yang stood in the corridor, waiting for the 2 people to pull the cart out of Zhang Chen's stall. A Yang shouted, boss, let me take a look here. The 2 men glanced at his stall and walked away. When they walked away, Yang came over and cursed, it's so annoying that I won't even look at it, so I became a porter. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao laughed. A Yang looked at them and smiled. He said, I am also happy to have a porter. Xiao Zhao gave him the money for a Yang's jacket, and a Yang said with a smile, these 2 are still big traders. I really can't believe that there are so many wholesalers in this market where there is no one. Zhang Chen also feels that as long as the goods are right, there will still be business here. If every stall in this market works conscientiously, this market can also be done. The 2 of them sat down. Xiao Zhao put his hand on Zhang Chen's thigh and kept shaking it. What should I do, my dear? There is no goods for sale today. Zhang Chen also feels a headache. It seems that these shirts have been verified. Both wholesale and retail customers like them very much. The headache now is that Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi cannot make them. Xiao Zhao stared at Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen felt uncomfortable being stared at by her and cursed softly, what are you looking at? Xiao Zhao chuckled and imitated Zhang Chen's tone and said, it won't be any cheaper, and we won't be able to produce it. Zhang Chen also laughed, and Xiao Zhao said, old Changgong is so awesome. I didn't expect you to be an actor. That's right, I was also on stage back then, Zhang Chen said proudly. Oops, Xiao Zhao shouted. What's wrong? Zhang Chen asked. Xiao Zhao had a bad smile on her face and said, someone is going to be in trouble. This person must be himself. Zhang Chen wondered, why am I so unlucky? Xiao Zhao continued to smile and said, where is that beauty's trumpet? Zhang Chen was stunned, and then he remembered this. Yes, he had the trumpet he promised, and they would come to pick it up at noon. Zhang Chen looked at Xiao Zhao and asked, I really forgot, you think of it before? Yes, who told her to listen to my husband so much? Xiao Zhao said, shaking his head. What nonsense are you talking about? Who listened to me? Tell me, does this dress belong to the girl who you told her she looks good with medium long hair? She really listened to you and got her hair cut? Do you like it more? Xiao Zhao said in a tone that was both true and false. Zhang Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry and could only shake his head. The clothes do belong to that girl. Thank you Lao Chantang for the tip. Thank you U205159936 for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health.